Love and light, everybody. I'm getting all ready to do what we do best is tell the truth and shame the devil. Let's see what I am looking for right now. Is love and light, love and light, love and light. Okay, let's see where I can find my moderators. Like I remember earlier. Okay, where my heart's at, where my moderators at. Put your green hearts in there, my moderators, so I can let you in. Okay, I'm looking for my moderators. I'm trying to find my little button for you. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you already a moderator? Tracy, I got you. Let's see, who else am I supposed to add as a moderator tonight? Okay, you ladies who are supposed to be my moderators on YouTube, I need you to show me some hearts so that I can make sure to add you as a moderator. I'm doing this thing, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna co-host everybody else on here as well. All right, ladies, here we go. I'm trying to find why I can't get you to be a moderator. Okay, you already are on there as a moderator, that's why. stop sharing my screen here. Love and light, everybody. Let's see who is at the top of the screen here. Don't want to leave nobody out. I've got co-hosts now that are going to be managing the screens for me and kick out any misbehaving, mischievous folks that come on and feel like they ain't got nothing else to do but come try to mess up somebody's party. But let me tell you something, you can't mess up my party because I come equipped. So, but we got somebody that'll kick your hind in and out if you get to showing out tonight. I got smart and wise enough now to get some moderators up in the house because the haterators come up in here trying to show out and start something. Stop starting stuff. Go somewhere and get a life, please. Now, if you don't like what I have to say, don't come on TikTok. Don't come on YouTube. Okay? That's just the rules of engagement tonight. All right. So am I doing good over there on TikTok? I just need somebody just to tell me, am I doing all right on TikTok? You can unmute yourself. Okay, let me find somebody on TikTok. Am I doing all right on TikTok over there? All right. They said I'm doing great. Because y'all know I'm rolling tonight. I'm rolling up. I'm rolling up with a gangster lean. You know how y'all do. I like to have fun, y'all. Okay. So my way smile. Y'all on Saturday night. What is it? Saturday Night Live. All right. Now I got my son Rod Hayes live with me tonight. You know he always cooking up something on the grill, and you know how your sons bring stuff home for mama to cook. Well, that's him. He brings shit home for me to cook and say, "Huh, will you fix this for me? Can you talk? We need to talk about this, mama." So we're gonna talk about a few things tonight that I think is important for us to talk about. Put on the public record since everybody else wanted to tip around the subject matter. Don't want us to really have conversation about it, but we're gonna go ahead and have a conversation tonight about our DNA as melanated women. You know, so I'm getting ready to hit this record button. Like I said, I was doing the gangster lean a little bit earlier today. And so what I'm saying, y'all manage letting folks in the Zoom for me, all right? You co-host. Thank you. So we got my son tonight gonna be talking about our DNA and the things that is important for us as melanated women to know who we are, why they're hiding our identity, and why they hating on us so bad, and why we been caught off guard because we don't know what we getting ready to talk about tonight. So my son has bought some victuals in the kitchen for me to stir in the pot. You know, I got the pot all boiling with all the hot water going on, and I got the blender out. I got my pots ready to do some baking. We're gonna bake a few cakes tonight, and we're gonna eat it, and we're gonna ingest the information because we need to know who we are and why the things are going on the way they're going on. Okay? So just sit back and relax. I'm going to share my screen, son. You come on in and you tell me how to roll. I got us all straight tonight. And this is for the public record tonight, y'all.
Yeah. So this one I call Exposing the Matrix and Cracking the DNA. The secrets they don't want you to know. With that being, that's the title, that's the subject matter. And why don't we start by using that very first the I want to see that picture for the flyer. Yeah, that. I want y'all to just look at this for a minute. Can you make it? Can you make it full screen on there?
Yes, I am. I'm getting ready to do that right now.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay. So now y'all looking at a DNA helix, right? You got Lucy at the top, which they told us was the oldest remains of humans ever discovered on the planet. That's the Leakey's discovery in the Oduvar Gorge in Kenya. Next, it says melanated. And melanin is auto-sentient. That means that melanin can be communicated from prime source without any interference of the rest of the human anatomy. The melanin is critical, but the melanin is going to be communicating first before anything else with something called the mitochondrial DNA. If you look on the helix, you'll see it says mitochondrial DNA across the top, and then it got a chemical composition to the right, right? And the encoded traits that we're looking for is the traits of the eternal ones, the immortals, the primordial gods that they've written out of history and made them into male figures, but they carry in the female position in the open to confuse the masses about the importance of the mitochondrial in the DNA. Right. So this is the cover of this presentation you're looking at. The primary resource we're going to be using, Empress, you want to pull up the cover to the book?
Yes.
This is called the ISIS thesis, and it's going into 80 different codes of ancient Kemet. So
This
when we
one,
get
right?
to this one, all it should, no, that's not the cover. Yeah, that's the cover. There you go.
Okay, so let me
So this is the book that we are using as the first frame of reference for this study. Right? It's a study decoding 870 ancient Egyptian signs. Now, if you look, it's showing you the boat, which is the mothership. If you remember, this show came on Netflix recently. I think it was called Moonlander or something, but it was about a guy who had went to Egypt and he ended up meeting an Egyptian goddess by the name of Tawaret while he was on the ship. Okay, and Kansu was her counselor. Kansu takes on the same zoological type in the hieroglyph as Tahuti, right? So we finna go from the mother plane to Mother Earth right now. And the link that ties the eternal ones to what's taking place in the galactic realm, as above, so below, as within, so without, right? Reference, C. Freeman Hill. Okay, now let's go to the one with the cover in the first in that page so they can see the chapter.
which one do you want to go to? Right here?
Yep. Can we
Right.
make, why is
Yeah.
that up so high on the right? Can we scroll up to the top of this page so they can see the chapter? It's not as clear right now.
Okay, give me 1 second here.
Unless it got clipped off.
You are well, this is what you sent. It was like this when you sent it to me.
Okay, so For the for brevity, this is chapter 13.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me make the screen. Okay.
Okay, now I really wanted to see that part up there. I don't know why I didn't read the whole picture because it cut off the title too.
Okay, well let me go back and look because I'm quite sure that's what happened. All right. So,
Here, if you can hold the class for a minute, I'm gonna grab the book. I'll be able to read it right off the book.
okay, yeah, because it did cut it off. I mean, it was cut off the way you sent. Well, wait a minute. I resend it. All right. So what I'm going to do is pull it up on my email. Let me end this for a minute. And let me stop sharing my screen. Hi, everyone. How you feeling today? Oh, look at the beautiful faces. Ah, this is beautiful. All right. So let's pull it up in my email so that we can take a look at it. All right, here we go. Okay, Rod, I did pull it up.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna go back to sharing my screen now. Okay, is that what you're talking about?
Yep,
This
that's
part?
perfect. That's it. Yep.
Okay,
Now, the irony of this is the 13th chapter of this book. So now, before we go any further, let's go into the mathematics of the number 13. In ancient Kemet, the 13th seat was called the Queen Mother seat, which is the mother to the king. It's showed in the zodiac as a wheel. And the wheel in the center has what's called the eye, right? So this is the eye of Horus, which is Heru in ancient Kemet, which is the heir. And he's the heir to the father seat, which is called the Osirian seat or the Osiris seat, right? And then the queen mother is the holder of the seat number 13, which is the Isis seat. Before they made everything masculine, the zodiac wheel represented by each one of 12 daughters of Isis. And the 12 daughters of Isis all were what we call oracles. They were called the sisters of the Sibyl in some cultures, right? And what this is about is the 13th seat, and this is telling you the seat of Isis as the Lacks gene, right? So where do we hear that reference, Lacks gene? Where do we hear reference to that? Is Henrietta Lacks, right? So for all of this to make sense, let's go over Henrietta Lacks so you can pull her up first.
okay. And they're asking me about a picture. You guys got to go on YouTube in order to actually see what we're talking about because I haven't learned how to share my screen on TikTok yet, but that is the next thing I will promise to learn how to do. But in the meantime, go on to the YouTube channel. And Tracy, if you would put the Zoom link into the chat box so that they can come onto the Zoom if they can't get on YouTube, so that they can see, so we can share the screen. So again, those of you all who are on TikTok and you're asking about pictures and stuff, I haven't learned how to share my screen on TikTok yet. So please, my moderator is going to put the Zoom link in the chat area so you guys can come on to the Zoom link and be able to see our screen if you're not able to get on YouTube. So Tracy, can you make sure that the link is in the chat room at TikTok so you folks can come on over into the Zoom to be able to see my screen, okay? All right. All right. So son, you wanted me to do what now?
Pull up Henrietta Lacks.
All right. Let's see, where is she at?
I don't see it.
It should be in here because I put her in here. There she is.
They cut that one off too, Empress.
Okay, well, hold on. Ain't nothing but a thing. I know how to hair her up and get her done.
So, for those who don't know, okay, we're talking about the Lac-Z gene in ancient Kemet, but this sister name is Henrietta Lacks. Now, to show y'all how the secret societies conceal stuff, the S is a backward Z. And the CK in Semitic languages is one letter, not two. So her name is really Henrietta Lacks, or Lacks, L-A-C-Z. The CK was used to confuse us in the English language using the K for the King's English. Right? Now, yeah. So this is a book about her life, and this is an article also. So here it say, who was Henrietta Lacks? Here's how HeLa cells became essential to medical research, right? And it's another page that followed this that gives the rest of the story.
Okay, yeah, so I have that.
Okay. So we can put that one up. We can go over her story.
This page right here? Yeah, this
yep.
is a, yeah, okay.
This is why her genes, which are called immortal genes, are so important to understand in reference to who we are. And we're gonna go to that picture in a minute.
Oh, okay. My bad.
I like how I did that. That looks sweet. Okay. So right here it says, in an amazing twist of fate, the aggressive cervical cancer tumor, keep that cervical cancer diagnosis under advisement as we go through this.
Okay.
That killed Henrietta Lacks, a 31-year-old African-American mother. When they said African-American, that automatically told you she was organic, indigenous to this land. They want us to believe we from somewhere else so that we won't be doing what me and Empress doing exactly right now. Ha ha ha, in their face. So became an essential tool that helped the biomedical field flourish in the 21st century. As a cancer researcher who uses HeLa cells in my everyday work, even I sometimes find it hard to believe. On August the 1st, 2023, over 70 years after doctor took Lacks genes without her consent or knowledge, her family reached a settlement with biotech company Thermo Fisher. Lacks' descendant had sued the company in 2021 for making billions of dollars off of her sales. Now, the top of the next page is cut off, Empress,
Okay,
so
hold
we don't have
on.
to go
I
through
got I got it. Just give me 1 second. I'm working this thing.
it.
Give me 1
So
second.
these are the genes that's identifiers for the daughters of Isis on Earth, which takes us back to banking codes in the DNA, and it takes us to birthright and blood right to restore and reclaim everything using the grandfather clause to usher in the grandmother clause. Right? Yep, there we go. Okay, it says, can we blow it up some, write it down?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now just slide it to the, yep.
Is that good?
Yep. Now you just got to scroll to the top.
Okay.
I think you may have to drag down.
Okay, wait a
Or
minute.
you,
Oh, goodness. All right, give me a second here. All right. I have to let me see, do this. Is that good enough for you to,
yep,
and then,
yep, yep.
okay,
That's it right there. So here the question was, why HeLa cells matter? It says before HeLa cells, scientists wanted a way to grow and study human cells in the lab to conduct studies that are impossible to do in a living person. When Lacks cervical cancer cells were successfully grown in a petri dish in 1951. Now look at how that's highlighted. Successfully grown in a petri dish in 1951. So there's emphasis on the fact that they successfully grew her cells in a petri dish in 1951. Okay, now scientists now had a source of cost-effective and easy to use cells that expanded their ability to conduct research. From polio to COVID-19 vaccines to cancer research and sequencing the human genome, that's critical. HeLa cells have played an enormous role in my scientific discoveries and advancements. Okay, you can scroll down so we catch the rest of the last paragraph on that page.
let's see. Is that good?
Trying to get the last paragraph on the right side at the bottom.
Right.
There, now I'll blow it up. I should have it. That's good. That's perfect. Okay. Henrietta Lacks' story is also an ongoing bioethics case. That means that they still using her case study to go over the ethical value of this method in the okay. To go over this method of research if it's ethical. That means if the moral value of it, if the benefit is outweighed by the moral value, no matter how immoral it will be, they will use that as a means to pursue their objective. It said because these cells were taken from her during a routine cervical cancer biopsy and were then given to researchers without her consent, as was common practice at the time. So who genes do they have that they doing research on in laboratories without their knowledge? Because they say it was a common practice to do what they None. That means they was doing it on a routine basis. It said the Lack family has long attempted legal action against companies that they say have unfairly benefit. Can you take me off moderator because it keep popping stuff up and blocking my screen?
Okay. Let me find. There you are.
Okay. The Lack family has long attempted legal action against companies they say have unfairly benefited from Henrietta's sales. A 2010 book by journalist Rebecca Skloot details how Hella cells affected both science and the Lacks family, right? So this was a cause because they discovered her genes were immortal, right? Can we go to Google and pull up the word immortal?
Sure.
So genetically speaking, she can't die. So something happened that made her transition, and cervical cancer would have been one of the things her body would have naturally resisted. So in order for her to die from cervical cancer, there had to be some unnatural outside intervention, or the cancer cell wouldn't have affected Henrietta Lack to her demise. Do that make sense?
Yeah.
Empress?
Yes, it makes
Okay,
sense.
now, so, and they studied her genes. None of her family know it, nor did she know it at the time, but they end up making the discovery later, which made her family petition the courts for relief. Now remember, they courts is designed to give us the runaround if we right. So the discovery that her genes was immortal, well, what do that mean? To have immortal genes, right? The word immortal means not mortal, not liable or subject to death, undying. The secondary meaning is remembered or celebrated throughout all time. That means in the ancient Kemet, they had a saying, you'd have two deaths. When you disincarnate physically and when your name is spoken for the last time. The third definition for immortal is not liable to perish or decay, imperishable, everlasting. The fourth is perpetual, lasting, constant, right? As in an immortal enemy, the enemy that you always had since your first creation, your doppelganger self, your devil self, or your double self. Now, fifth meaning of immortal is of or relating to immortal beings or immortality. You with us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it says the sixth is of a laboratory cultured cell line capable of dividing indefinitely. Okay, now, that being understood, they found out that according to the genes, Henrietta Lack is never supposed to die. Every time her cells replicate, there's no entropy in order for it to exhaust itself at its source, which takes us to the image of the mitochondria. This is where it's starting to get juicy. It's the picture of the mitochondria. Not that. This is a cell that's down further in the right there, right under Casablanca. Okay, now we want to expand that because now we finna get into the matrix. Shout out to Sister Sophia Stewart, the author of The Matrix and Terminator. We ain't forgot about that, sister. Okay, mitochondria is known as the energy powerhouse of every cell, right? And this is what the mitochondria itself look like. Inside the mitochondria, where you see those little squiggly lines, is something called the matrix. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay, this is a broadcast system from spirit to humanity. It is the capacitor that downloads the energy of a nuclear star so it does not spontaneously combust the human body. This is the first filter and communication with spirit that the body has. Now, the Sibyls, since it's under here, we're going to touch on that. This is the link mitochondria give all women who understand who they are, and that with a little meditation and focus can activate their mitochondria DNA to operate at maximum capacity.
Uh-oh. You better get ready, get ready, get ready. Get in here, get in here, like that guy said.
So we're going to go over the meditation, and I'm going to also make mention of a supplement. But first, once this mitochondrial becomes fully activated, and this is what the sun rays and the Schumann resonance is doing right now, it's energizing the women to turn this on, to take back Earth from the rogue patriarchs, and to make the men be men again and the women be feminine again. The most effective ones of the sisters right now are the elderly women and the priestesses of Oshun to kick this energy off around the planet by understanding focus on the mitochondrial. And this is what they're going to call the Sibyl effect. It's like Tesla coils wherever one of them are. And the energy that she's putting out will connect with the other sisters in a telepathic network around the planet. And this is called the Sibyl effect. The Sibyls, or the first prophetesses of Mami Wata, was the ancient Atlantean Lemurian priestesses that governed over the earth. These are the women who decided to make humanity in Genesis 1:26. And then when Adam is made, that's when the usurpers came to replace the ones that the women put in here with something else called a Gulam. Now, what it say right here is what is now currently the Holy Seat of the Vatican in Italy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me read that again, Empress. What is now currently the Holy Seat of the Vatican in Italy was originally the sacerdotal seat of the ancient Black Sibyl Queen Mothers. Get the book if y'all want to go into more detail. This is the priestesses of Mami Wata, Sibyls, and I forgot the author name. It's on there. What's her name? Anyway, so from here we gonna go to the Pope's, to the sacerdotal seat. The Pope doesn't sit on. You want to pull up that big old pretty picture of Big Mama seat? Yep. This seat is suspended above the Pope seat. That's Big Mama's seat. Right? Now, if you look down, you could right directly under it, you can see the top portion of where the Pope sits. The reason the Pope sits there is because he is doing something called H.R.I.M. He's undermining. He's Jacobing. He's being Jacob to Esau. He's undermining the earthborn, the ruddy red Mississippi walking clay dirt, by blocking Big Mama's seat. Because Big Mama ain't home, he ain't gonna let nobody sit there. And if a man sit in the seat, bring the whole game to an end. That's why it's suspended so high above the ground. Now, the common thing that they tell you is that this is St. Peter's seat. This is not St. Peter's seat, and I'll tell you how we know. We got a picture of St. Peter's seat to show you. Let's show them St. Peter's seat. St. Peter's seat does not even look like this. It's not made like this. The style is different, right? And from the sacerdotal seat of the proper heir, we goes to the patriarchal seat of St. Peter. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? This is St. Peter's seat. If you notice, the chair is in a definite geographical place. Can we blow it up so we can read this, Empress? Okay. History and significance of the chair of St. Peter the Apostle. It says the term chair or seat, or a chair of St. Peter the Apostle, pertains to two entities: the physical chair and the spiritual meaning of the chair of the first supreme pontiff, St. Peter the Apostle himself. Now, for those who don't know, Peter is pater, which means father in Greek. This is the father seat of St. Peter, or the fatherly saint, right? Now, it shows you here two different meanings: physical meaning and the spiritual meaning. The physical chair of St. Peter is an ancient ornamental chair that is located in the, I can't see that word, apse of St. Peter Basilica. So now we know that St. Peter's seat is physically located in St. Peter's Basilica, and it's got these velvet ropes around it, Janet Jackson. She told us to look for the velvet rope. Janet Jackson did. We don't pay our people no attention like that though. We only pay attention to the star value in the this black girl magic talking now. Those sisters with that golden brown skin and that afro. The spiritual meaning of St. Peter's seat, on the other hand, the spiritual aspect of the chair of St. Peter pertains to the spiritual authority that binds the church together, the glue that hold the church together. It's the role of the father in the family is to keep the family together. So this is but they using it in reverse, remember, because when you hear about the crucifixion and it's saying they divided up his royal garment and they sold it at the auction block. What is the royal garment is significant of the family. And to rent the garment is to fracture the family. Now, if you look, it say the ancient chair. And if you notice, it got a pyramid on top or a triangle on top. Masonically, it would be a square over a ruler. Okay? And it says the ancient chair. The seat is about 1 foot, 10 inches above the ground and 2 feet, 11 and 7/8 inches wide. According to the examination then made by Padre Garucci and Giovanni Battista de Rossi, the oldest portion is a perfectly plain oaken armchair with 4 legs connected by crossbars. You can see the original St. Peter's chair on the picture on the left. Do that look anything like that other chair? They don't look nothing like the other chair. Because you're on mute, Empress.
It doesn't. It doesn't look like it.
Right. Right. Because this is what we call the people on earth, no matter where you at, this is known as the imposter seat. They couldn't sit on Big Mama's seat, so they had to make their own seat. But they got to always remain under Big Mama as the usurper, so that if the rightful heirs come to claim it back, we know who overthrew us, because they sitting under Big Mama's seat. So at the bottom, it say the original throne or chair of St. Peter the Apostle was last publicly exposed in 1867, where it was photographed. Without doubt, the first supreme pontiff, St. Peter the Apostle, made use of the original chair and sat on it, meaning making it an authentic relic of our church. Okay, now let's go back and look at the other chair again, Empress.
All right.
You could pull up the one where it says the seat of power.
Okay, let's see.
Don't look nothing like it. This is called the sacerdotal seat of the priestesses of Mami Wata, or the daughters of Isis. This is the 13th ruling seat of the 12 lesser seats of the earth realm. Spiritually, Prime Creator sits on this seat. And spiritually, the Father seat is beneath her seat. So they tried to mimic it in the physical, and then they find the rightful heir and put obstacles in their path to prevent the rightful heir with the blood and the right from claiming the sacerdotal seat as the seat of power. Side note, the act of that on this land was carried out by the Empress when she went to Philadelphia, and she sat on the highest seat of power in North, Central, and South America to declare that the matriarchy was returning for what they rightfully owned. And what was also simultaneously taking place in another room while she was sitting on the seat, the other sister was receiving the channel from the elders who had cursed them where they couldn't use that position, and they made a move the capital from Philadelphia to DC, because if they got too close to that seat of power in their false application of power, it would cause an energetic backlash in the spirit realm that would affect them in the earth realm. So they moved it, and then they protected the grounds of DC with sigils. When you listen to people talk about it now, they saying they're Masonic symbols. No, those are sigils used to harness and capture energy in order for them to carry out the artificial means of usurping the power by preventing the women from ever understanding the power that goes with having the mitochondrial rulership rights and inheritable rights of the earth by grandfather clausing the grandmother clause, by having the rightful heir to the father's seat to tell them who is the rightful heir to Big Mama's seat. So when these two heirs act together, Isis raises Horus to the seat of Osiris in order to purge the land of all of the frauds and the imposters. This is called the holy drama in ancient Egypt. All of the earth tribes know the story according to the culture they live in. It's told a little bit different. Over here in Mesoamerica, it's called Popol Vuh. And it's the story of the rise of Quetzalcoatl, right? Or Kulakakan, depending on which culture is telling the story. In order to prove that the rightful heir comes, the father cancels all of the fraudulent contracts, and then the side effect is whatever paperwork is the foundational document, the false system will surrender to the rightful heir. That's the relay or the changing of the guard when that takes place. And they have 13 days to get it done. So I, as a chief on this land, coming up with the blood and the right, being the self-raised master, came to tell everybody who the rightful heir is, but I gotta find her first, right? And the only way I can find her is by continuously knocking with the right knock that comes with the right sound. That's how we make the tune become in tuned, which is attuned, which brings us to a tone, a single sound of an alpha male howling at the moon to call for Big Mama to come home. So when Farrakhan at the Million Man March said that when you hear the A tone, we will be at one, because it will be the right sound from the right one. And this is the changing of the guard from rogue patriarchal systems. And the men tired of it. They just don't know they tired of it because they haven't felt the love and tenderness of the matriarchy in so long we don't think it exists. So let's go back to the book, because I want to go back to the we can go start going into the pages now. We go back to let's go back to the cover because I got to read the headers because they critical. That one right there. Okay, can we blow that up where I can see? Well, I can read it from my book, but the other people won't be able to see it.
Okay, you want me to go back to the one that wasn't cut off?
You're on the right picture, but the
Okay.
one on the right is the page I'm finna read off of. So this is chapter 13, the seat of Isis as the Lacks gene. Now, if you notice, IS 44, which is Isis 44, 44 means an angel. Can you see it at the top up there?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Let me go to the other one. This page right here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If you right there at the top, it say IS 44. The first thing you tell her, okay, so before that, it say why the bull goddess binds to the serpent. Now notice it says bull and goddess. Bull is masculine, goddess is feminine. Yin and yang. But it says it joins to the serpent. Now it would take us back to the story of Eve in the garden, because Eve means tribal leader. Hawa is her name. It means tribal leader, which means the women was the leader of the tribes way back then. Now, the next thing it say after that is IS 44. Isis give dead king his heart in the middle of earth and fashions him. So this basic statement, Isis gives the dead king his heart, right? In the middle of earth, and fashions him. Now remember, this is the queen mother, which is the mother to the king. So the mother had the Lacks gene, and she is forming in her womb the rightful heir because she has heritable blood right of the king to come. This is the story of Isis giving birth to Horus to avenge his father from his uncle Set, who slew his father, chopped him up into 13 pieces, but one piece was missing, right? This is called the phallic key, right? Which is actually the bottom portion of the Ankh. The top portion alone is called the Ba, right? And in order for you to have the key, you have to access the right through the Ba and the Ka, which means the body, which is the blood right, and the spirit, which is the spiritual authority granted, right? This is why you have to be anointed with the karast or the elixir. And the mother anoints the child with the crocodile oil in old times. Now they use olive oil through the influence of the church. Spiritually, olive oil is an acceptable replacement because it looks like alligator oil that we used to get from Sobek priests who used to ride alligators, and they were the warriors in the Gullah Wars that was fending off the Spanish Armada, and this is what made them chopping down and burning down the trees in Florida all the way to Louisiana. Anyway, so the next thing it says is dead kings receives milk of Isis. This is IS 45. Dead king receives milk of Isis, the lady of provisions, right? And the common phrase of the wise is worry not, because mother will provide, as in Mother Nature. So Isis is the embodiment of Mother Nature on earth in order to raise her son up to defend earth from any threat. IS 46, dead kings take Eye of Horus or 2 bowls of sacred milk, Milky Way reference, right? Now we talking about the mother's milk, we talking the udders or the mammary glands. But these is all codes to decipher what's being discussed. Then it says IS 47, Isis accompanies dead king in Sunbark, which is that ship you've seen as the mothership. Isis conceives king and reassembles Osiris. Remember earlier when I was saying that she was forming the child in the womb to take her to his father's seat after his evil uncle Seth, which they're talking about here. IS 48. Cream reconciles Horus and Seth and purifies dead king. Right? So we're going to go into it. Objective 8. What evidence is there for the idea that the meta symbol Isis represents lactose metabolism? So you know they say you lactose intolerant, you can't drink milk and all of this, but you go into the land of milk or honey and you lactose intolerant. Let that sink in. You go into the land of milk and honey, but you lactose intolerant. Lactose is a milk sugar. And I've never seen a child drinking from his mother's breast have GERDs. It don't happen. But when you use synthetic milk or when you use a milk incompatible like cow's milk, the baby will get GERDs and won't be able to hold the milk down. So then they got to come and get the goat's milk. And the year of the goat is 1967. And the goat is the most feminine sign in the zodiac of the Chinese zodiac. And the goat represents the greatest of all time. And the goat becomes the dragon when the goat realizes who they are in the year of the dragon. 2024 is the year of the dragon. And when Big Mama take her seat, if she's born in the year of the goat, when she take her seat, she becomes the goat dragon or the great dragon or the great returning mother, right? So the book go on to say numerous reference to Isis providing milk for the dead king, suckling the white bull, the Milky Way references and sweet and white eye of Horus references provide evidence for the idea that Isis represents the lactose nutrient medium. Medium is a thing that go between another thing. So it's a go between two things. These reference points to the operating ancient glycolysis pathway in cells that have pathways for both lactose and glucose energy metabolism. So what we're talking about now is the absorption of energy and the conversion of it through the biological systems is all governed by the mitochondria. This is what this is telling us. Glycolysis evolved billions of years ago when there was hardly any molecular oxygen in our atmosphere. Both anaerobic fermentation and aerobic respiration start with ancient glycolysis pathway, which runs whether oxygen is present or not. That means that an immortal thing don't need oxygen to survive. It can live in an aerobic environment or anaerobic. It says in anaerobic respiration, all steps after glycolysis, such as the Krebs cycle to make HTP occur in the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is telling the body what it wants in order to produce the energy required to sustain the organism. In other words, spirit converts into an active form using the synthesis of the glucose or the lactose through the mitochondrial conversion of energy. The starting point for glycolysis is normally glucose. In anaerobic conditions, the end product depends on the organism. For example, some microorganisms, like say yeast, brewer's yeast, the end product is ethanol or carbon dioxide, but in higher organisms, now we go to the next page. If you want to pull the next page up, Empress, end product is lactate, which is to produce milk. So the milk that feeds the child in the mother is a side effect or a condensation of the energy of spirit being filtered through the mitochondria, through the mammary gland to produce the milk, which gives life to the child. So this is page 138, the Isis thesis that we in now, which is the page on the left. I don't know if we can see the whole page. But it says lactose is the predominant sugar in milk. Now keep that sugar in mind because I'm gonna give y'all a reference and how y'all look up later. It say the pyramid and coffin text point to this idea in the countless Egyptian references to the Milky Way and the mother goddess Isis. The deceased claims that he is Horus, the offspring of Osiris, and is born of Isis. He states he is the white bull whom the milk goddess suckled and is at nurse, meaning currently he's suckling from the great mother, meaning that he's sustained spiritually through the elder goddesses of the earth by their mitochondrial preference. It says perhaps the most convincing connection to lactose metabolism is that Isis is the lady of provisions. Thus, we have the claim in the legend of Ra and Isis. That's a Wallace Budge reference, that Isis was a woman skilled in words of power who enabled the dead to live, including Osiris. So this is telling you that it was by the word of the mother Isis that even the father Osiris was allowed to survive which means he was heritable to mitochondrial, and mitochondrial is the source of all of the energy that he was able to sync through his mother with. The mother then passes her son on through mitochondrial baton pass to the woman that can love him unconditionally. And that's why the queen mother picks the queen for the king to be, because it is through the queen mother that the right to rule is heritable to the father at the father's seat, or the Osirian seat, or the seat of Osiris, right? It goes on to say, in addition, the text state Horus became ruler over Egypt by means of the SOLE soul I, the mistress of the Enneads, meaning the mother of the nine, the lady of all. That means she's the mother of nine, but she governs them all as the lady of all. This idea that the I or genome of the glorious lineage of Horus is whole by means of Isis is found often, suggesting the I is nurtured by lactose metabolism. The I of Seth and the human creation thrives with glucose production, not lactose, which takes us to a book called The Naked Ape. And in the book, The Naked Ape, there's a portion in there that tells us about the brain's usage of all of the glucose. Most of your sugar is consumed by your brain in higher thought. When you move your thinking to higher realms, you begin to have more glucose being used by the brain. So part of the diabetes is a artificial sugar replacement that's strangling the brain's metabolism of the sugars, which causes the insulin to reject it, which shuts down the pancreas if you reverse engineer it. If the body keeps producing more insulin than the sugar allows it to process, it overworks the pancreas, which exhausts the chromium and vanadium. Chromium and vanadium are the fuel for the pancreas to produce insulin for metabolism, and the primary metabolism place for the glucose is in the brain in the human. So when you have the breakdown and the disconnect, and then you have to remember the cleaning of the filters of the body becomes critical for getting out toxins and foreign agents, which we'll come back to that, right? So it go on to say this brings us full circle because the non-local deceased is one who was conceived and born as Horus the heir. Additional references to lactose include that the
Okay,
deceased.
where are you reading it? See, I think that I'm on the wrong page. Am I on the wrong page?
Look at the top. Is it 138? You're on page 138.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, you're on the wrong page.
Okay. Is this right here? Is this where we are?
Uh-uh.
Okay, hold on 1 second then.
Can only be one more page.
But this is the last page right here.
Okay, so go up to. It should be that one right there.
Okay.
Let me see. No, oh, no, it ain't either one. Wait a minute.
You said 138?
Yep, I'm on page 138.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me get that page up. I don't even think I have that page.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yes, I do.
Yep, the name of the book that I referenced was called The Naked Ape. That's 47. Yep, that's it.
Right.
It's the left-hand page,
Mm-hmm.
almost to the end of the second paragraph.
Yes, we got it.
Mhm.
My apologies for the wrong page, everyone.
It's okay. I was still reading it. I was reading it out loud. They was like, wait a minute, that ain't the words I'm looking at.
We're good.
Okay, so but for those that's trying to catch up, I'm on the second paragraph on the left-hand side of the screen. And I'm at the part where it's an additional reference to lactose include that the deceased will not travel around because your arm is that of Horus, your arm is that of the Great One, while the sacred eye, the Lady of Provision, is powerful. So it is that cream or zoom or soon, those are words that don't have consonants, reconciles Horus and Seth by providing lactose medium for a complete eye of Horus. So this lactose medium, they're talking about the activation of the eye of Horus, which is the eye of wisdom or the third eye that the mother's wisdom opens up. This is the nurturing of the spirit of the son by the righteous mother or the mother that's striving for righteousness and teaching the ways of righteousness to her son. So this substance that they're talking about is the milk. It is the spiritual teaching that's passed on in the physical way so that it awakens the divinity in the child, right? So the next paragraph starts, the numerous textual references also emphasizes the importance of cultivating and brewing barley. This is making a beer now, right? Because one of the side effects of the synthesis of sugars is to produce glycol, which is the precursor to alcohol, right? So say the sugar maltose is used in the brewing of barley. Maltose, of course, points to the maltose transport system of the phage lambda receptor site, lambiporin. The deceased receives the milk of Isis, which translates to accessing the lactose pathway through the maltose transport system, where a low affinity path exists that does not allow the MBP to bind the substance, the substrate lactose, right? Then they have the bold print say barley cultivation equals maltose transport path for lactose energy metabolism. So now it's telling you the necessary components for when you raise your frequency, your brain will begin to fire at a more rapid rate, which is going to require more of the glucose, which is the sugars that the brain use. The carbohydrates is the slower burning of the two, so the brain will convert the carbohydrates slower than it absorbs the raw sugars. The best sugars come from the fruit, but some of us brain fired so fast that if we eat fruit, that we will have a difficult time holding our human form. And that might be why Malachi York don't eat fruit. Right. So on page 139, we going into the eye of Isis. Right. Now you got to remember, in the Book of the Dead, Ra gave his eye to Sekhmet to go to war with the patriarchs. But Isis gave her eye to Heru or Horus to redeem his father's seat from a usurper, which was her husband and her's brother. So he was an uncle on his mother and father's side to the seat, and he took it from the father. So the son has to reclaim it by the blood and the right. So he has to open his eye of wisdom, and the brain is called interior gyrus, which allows your communications with spirit to flow. And this is why they say the spirit rain downs on the heads of the people. It's talking about a specific part of the brain in a specific location on the right hemisphere where the spiritual information comes in, whereas the eye or the right eye is feeding the left brain linear logic, and the spiritual eye, the third eye, is translating with the left eye spiritual data in order to balance the two out so that the left brain and the right brain work in harmony to produce a full spectrum holographic memory. You have to reconstruct your memory by understanding certain key principles. So I'm gonna read this page. I'm gonna try not to do too much commentary so I can get through this page, because then we're gonna start going into. But this is the page I really wanted to get to. Isis is Soul Eye, SOLE, the sacred eye, right? Which is SOUL. The Egyptians, Isis represent the magna mater, or the great mother, the great creative power nurturing all living things. Nephthys was her twin form in the consort of Seth. Isis's crown consists of a pair of horns, between which a lunar disk, sometimes surmounted by the throne symbol. Recall that the lambda prophage lodges in the host E. coli chromosome at the site of the LAC-Z or B galactosidase gene. While the prophage inserted here, the LAC-Z operion may be inactivated, resulting in a non-functional galactosidase.
I want to
That
ask
means,
you if you could go back for 1 minute. I just got one question. Is this
mm-hmm.
where they did the E. coli virus?
Well, it's a bacteria. E.
Okay.
coli is a bacteria that's common in intestinal tracts of mammals.
Okay.
If it go in the wrong side, it produces the illness, because in your intestines, your large and small intestines, you have a containment mechanism to contain E. coli, but in your esophagus, in your stomach, you don't have that protection. So the E. coli breaks through the barrier and infects the body as a rogue bacteria that causes illness.
Okay. So the E. coli chromosome, is that what you still talking about that?
No,
And
we're talking about the LAC-Z gene in the E. coli as a processor.
okay, that's what I just wanted to know. What was E. coli used as? And you answered my question. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we can go
So
ahead.
so the E. coli becomes a processor in the intestines to aid in the breakdown of the glucose, right? So she go on to say, with the prophage inserted here, the lactazine aperion may be inactivated, resulting in the non-functional galactosidase, which the excretions or removal of the prophage, this gene for lactose metabolism, is vacated, leaving an empty seat, or so to speak, an empty throne. So
Mm,
what it's saying
mm.
is, when you don't have the right types of sugar processing in the body, that you can't raise the energy enough to keep the genes active. This is called This is the failing of the mitochondrial in the man that she's describing versus women can sustain the resonance in mitochondrial. Men need help. Men need help by a counterpart. But we can only plug in through the heart chakra, right? So when the mother leaves, if the man haven't done sufficient self-work to find his mate and he's still out here on little boy stuff, his body gonna start to break down. His virility is gonna decrease. And he's going to eventually, by the time he's roughly around between 45 and 55, he will become impotent. That's because he don't have a mitochondrial host. Therefore, he's not fit to reproduce male children, which means he's not fit to reproduce. If you're a man, you're supposed to be able to produce a man child. If you lose your mitochondrial rights to reproduction, you become impotent, so you can't reproduce. These become what we know in the beehive as the drones, the worker bees. The man been married 30 years to the same woman, and they can't get along, but they won't leave each other, and they stay in the same house miserable together. And they never touch each other. They never have conjugal relations, none of that. He just there miserable, and she there miserable with him. It's not a love relationship. It's a contract agreement, and it's a difference. If it was a true love relationship, he would be smiling at 70 like he was at 20 when he met her. But if it's a contract relationship, it's gonna run its course. And then society's standards gonna dictate how they behave from that point forward. This is the patriarchal system, so we don't give the proper honors to the women to give us the proper control to produce under the mitochondrial resonance. This is what he's talking about right now. This is why the women are so valuable to the men who are aware that we become excessively aggressive in defending them. Right? So she goes on to say, thus we have possible correlation between Isis' name, depicting the empty throne or seat, and the potential for lactose metabolism, which is necessary for the birth of the Horus lineage. So this is the love exchange that must be required before the rightful heir can assume his position, and Big Mama not gonna let him in the house with no little strumpet. She ain't real. Take her back out there. Go try again, son. She can't come in. All of the mothers with this immortal gene put their son through the most difficult time when it comes to presenting mama with a woman. And the woman gotta love him so unconditionally that she understands why mama putting him through it. Because my son ain't just finna be married to no any old body. So to make sure that you can't put somebody who's undeserving in this, I'm gonna pick her. That's called the Queen Mother Seal. If the woman don't get the Queen Mother Seal, that means if the son, who is a rightful heir to his family's chiefdom, mother does not approve of the female he's in relation with, it don't matter what he do, that he can't inherit until he finds somebody that his mama can approve of. And she don't even have to physically be here. She don't even have to physically be here because as long as he got mitochondrial, she walking around with him like he on a leash. Because even when mama cross over, it's her love sustaining the mitochondria of the man. And if he the rightful heir, she will sustain it until he find what's called a representative. So somebody put in the in the chat. That was a good
And
with regard to
someone asked a
mitochondria.
question too in TikTok. So you go ahead and I don't know if we want to wait until after we finish the presentation and then we'll go into the
Well,
Q&A.
this the only reason I'm reading this because it was directly related. It said regard to this is for I don't know who this is, iPhone 11 in the group. It said regard to mitochondrial DNA, it is passed on from mother to child, both daughters and sons. However, and this is where it becomes important to understand everything we talking about. Only daughters, only daughters can pass on the mitochondrial DNA because she is lengthening her bloodline. Sons can't do that. Sons contribute to other matriarchal bloodlines depending on the mother they impregnate. So fathers have same mitochondrial DNA as his mother, sisters, and all members of his matriarchal family. The children he sires only have mitochondrial DNA from their mother mitochondrial family. In other words, women carry the bloodlines from beginning to end. So that's why I had to read that because it goes directly to what we're talking about. And we going through the process by which the physical sugars and the spiritual energies is converging in the mitochondria to produce energy output in order to animate the physical body. And the understanding of the mitochondrial importance to mother and child also gives us the correct understanding of the importance of a mother and father combination in order to have the most functional family possible. And they call that the nuclear family.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They say that's Chiefess Israel that made that. That was a beautiful commentary on what we're talking about it because it was directly related. And it's critical importance to know. This is why when she say that the men contribute genetic data to another's mother line, to another mitochondrial heritable stream of DNA. So when we talking about this, what we don't understand is all of the capabilities of mitochondria. Mitochondria scans the genetic material of the Y chromosome. That's important to know because it's through this Y chromosome that the spirit determines if this male has the DNA that this family can facilitate in reproduction. So when you get a mitochondrial host, one that the mother can say, okay, this is, and I think it's written like this in the Bible. And then a man should leave his mother and father and should cleave to his wife, and they will become one flesh. Right? This is what it's talking about because he can't leave his mother's house until he find another home with an equivalent heart resonance for the family, which is the mitochondrial reciprocal energy to the Y chromosome being interjected into the family. So we talking about inheritance of royal blood being passed down, but we also talking about how the women under the matriarchy use marriage to make family connections in order to solve problems. So the people who plumbing is always broke, that family's mother gonna look for a plumber for one of her daughters to marry. Because that family need a plumber because they keep having to call for plumbers from other people's family. So she gonna sit, one of the daughters is gonna be born pre-programmed to find a plumber to marry so that when the plumbing in the family broke, we got a plumber in the family.
Y'all hear that on
Everything.
TikTok?
So what all this is about is understanding the sacerdotal seat, right? Understanding the mitochondrial right of heritability by exercising their right through mitochondrial or the grandmother clause. The grandfather clause is the clause that tells them that at the solstice, we activate the grandmother clause using the grandfather clause. The first and the oldest contract to Earth is the contract that made Earth a feminine planet. When Earth was made a feminine planet, Mother Nature was the first God placed over Earth. And all things must go and coincide with Mother Nature, lest it be belligerent to all life on Earth. And anything belligerent to all life on Earth, when Big Mama's son come and say Big Mama home, all that stuff have to be systematically removed. It don't belong here. We don't want no more artificial foods. We don't want no plastic food, no laboratory created out of thin air food. We don't want no 3D printed food. We want food the good old fashioned way, natural by nature, according to the laws of nature. Because them the original laws of the great law that Mother Nature laid down for us to follow. And they work best for us because under Mother Nature, we was immortal, but under this patriarchy, Father Nature, we die. This is why it went from Kali Ma, resolving your issues using the agent of time, to the Olympian god, Kronos, eating his babies. Cannibalism. Cannibalism is the tool used to usurp the matriarchy. The blood rituals and the blood rites is to subjugate the goddesses of the earth. So now you see them shutting down slaughterhouses, catching on fire. Been doing it for the last 5 years in record numbers. Animals, the farms been dropping dead because the heat been killing them because they can't take the solar rays. Those are GMOs. Those are genetically modified organisms. They can't stay here. Right? So the next thing we have to do is walk the women through the power that's in the mitochondrial birthright before we can begin to allow them to all connect. So for some of the sisters that's been doing all of their cleanses and they've been doing a meditation, we come with the focal point. How do you get this mitochondrial to turn up? Can you type PQQ in on Google? This is a critical aspect to raising the mitochondria. Because of the pollutants and the toxins that's been fed to us by the society that's came to replace us, and they failed miserably because here we are taking over.
I need you to tell me what it was. You want me to
Just
look
put
up?
in, it's 3 letters, PQQ. So for all of the sisters that's already caught up on their cleanses and stuff, this is what you got to do next. Okay, we can scroll down to it's a nutrient. I want to click on the description of it. We'll tell you what it does.
Right here.
Go to the top and type purpose behind it. Okay, scroll down. I'll tell you when you get to the one I need. See that PQQ supplement? Go down with the 9 key ingredients. or 9 reasons it's the key nutrient. Okay, let's go over this article. What is PQQ? We just gonna start there. No, we can start at the top. It say tiny organs inside your cell. See what it say? Mitochondria. Work hard every day. Turning, oh, you going the wrong way. Right there, right there. Turning the food you consume into energy. But with age, the number of mitochondria naturally declines. A molecule found in your body called Prialkyl quinine, or PQQ for short, has many benefits for your health, most notably boosting the production of mitochondria. Referred to as an all-natural fountain of youth, PQQ's ability to power up your mitochondria does a lot for your health and longevity. When you have more mitochondria, it impacts your energy level, metabolism, and resilience to disease. Remember, we was talking about Henrietta Lacks shouldn't have died from cervical cancer without an outside interference.
And someone was asking about her blood type
I don't know what her
as
blood
well.
type was. I think she was a type O, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Anyway, it said when you have more mitochondria, it impacts your energy level, metabolism, resilience to disease. PQQ also protects against oxidative stress with its super antioxidant power and may keep you feeling young for many years to come. Now, this supplement is a very critical supplement for the sisters right now, right? But she also gonna need with this a mushroom called lion's mane. You want to type that in?
Yes.
So now we going from study phase of philosophy to the application. So we going from theory to application to ignite the mitochondrial fuel in the women.
Where you want me to go?
Um, the first one is good. Oh, it's that little box on the side with it any better. Go back a page. You see all the way to the right there where it say lion's mane jellyfish?
Yes.
Let's read that.
Okay, hold on. Lion's
No, no.
mane.
Yeah, that's not it. That's entirely different. Let's go back. Let's go
Okay.
back to where we was at. We was at the right place.
The lion's mane jellyfish, also known as the giant jellyfish.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's not the right one. That's
okay.
about a jellyfish. We talking about the mushroom.
Okay.
So let's go back to where we was at. We was at the right one.
Okay.
Okay, let's scroll down where it got the about part where we could read, let the people read what lion's mane do right there. Okay, can we? Okay, see what it say. Lion's mane provide cognitive support benefits for healthy brain function. Um, for healthy brain function and healthy stress response to daily challenges. Right. So that's what lion's mane is for, is to maintain your brain's integrity as you increasing your energy output or input, or the balance between the two. The PQQ is to naturally increase your mitochondrial energy production. And as you've seen, they say it's like taking the fountain of youth, right? Because it begin to make the women glow. It begin to make them regenerate because it begins to activate they lack Z gene. which is their immortal gene. So from here, we go to it's a meditation practice. There's several meditations, but you can use whichever meditation you're familiar with. But the visualization that accompanies it should be the like you activating your mitochondria. So you would get a video. Let's go to YouTube for a minute and type in mitochondrial DNA and see if it'll give us a look inside the cell. By understanding what it looked like, you can feel your way through it without being able to see it. So you're looking at the energy coming through the matrix. The matrix is internally in the mitochondrial cell. The energy comes from spirit, and the healthy mitochondrial can then begin to turn up. So the women want to turn it up. You turn it up in your mind. You use the faculty of abstract reason called imagination, and you visualize the cell coming online. Let's try this little short one right there. What's the shortest one you see? So this is a Rife meditation, which means it's based on a frequency that's known to activate energy in a certain thing. Okay, you can stop this one, Empress. This is not. Okay, so what this is the Rife. The Rife is frequency. This is what you visualize. You see that cell right there, mitochondria, when you do the meditation. And you can use these as tools, as cheats. You can look at this while you're doing your meditation to give you a visual of what it looked like. This one is giving you a mantra to go with it, which is when you're meditating, it's an instruction, an activation instruction. That's good, Empress. Okay, so when you visualizing this, that music you was just hearing was designed to give you the frequency that is on. The image is to give you the visualization. The only thing that you have to do in your mind is see this as one cell in your body, because when you talk to one of them, you talk to all of them. So when you use this image in the meditation as the focal point, you feel it in your body that the focal point is on the cell in your body that look like the one you're looking at. You on mute, Empress.
Tracy, if you would, someone is asking in the chat room on TikTok, what's the link to what I just played? If you guys could send this link over in the chat, send it to Tracy so that she can put it in the TikTok chat. Now, all you have to do really, you all, is when you go to YouTube, just put in mitochondrial DNA meditation music. So just find that. But this particular one, I need Tracy, if you would put it in the chat, if you can. Let me know if you could do that with your heart, green heart.
Which takes us to the next supplement we got to look up. It's called CoQ10. CoQ10.
Wait a minute. Let me get out of this first. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. Okay, so let me go here. You want to look up what now?
It's called CoQ10. Now, I would advise all of y'all to get an herbalist because I can't give the individual consult to everybody, but you should go over herbalist to adjust your dosage. And he's probably going to ask you what cleanses you went through already. The most important cleanse is the heavy metal cleanse because the heavy metals settle at the end of the nerve cells. And when they start firing, it's like it burned the tips of the nerve cells. That's what causes the metal poisons to kind of cripple people.
Well, they want to know what the herb are you talking about? Talking about lion's mane and what else?
CoQ10, lion's mane, and PQQ.
Okay, so Tracy, if you could put that in the chat room, PQQ, lion's mane, and what
And
was the other one?
we finna go over the other one right now, CoQ10.
CoQ10. There's
Okay, now,
wait a minute,
yeah, go ahead.
it's COENZYME Q10. COENZYME and then Q, the letter Q, and number 10.
Or you can just put COQ10 for short.
You can put Q10 for short.
It'll
Yeah,
still
that's
come
it.
up.
It'll still come up. Okay, go ahead, Rod. And you
That
guys
same
do the
one.
same in the chat room on this call and on YouTube as well. All right,
So
go
go to
ahead.
the one with the 9 benefits of yeah. Now the reason why you want this one is because once you start raising that energy, you have to also have this because this balances the way the heart uses the PQQ. CoQ10 may support skin, brain, and lungs, as well as protect against chronic disease like cancer or diabetes. More research is needed to understand its benefits, however. CoQ10 is a compound that helps generate energy in your cells. With age, your body produces less of it, but you can also get it from supplements or food. So this is what the CoQ10 is, a support system for the PQQ and the feeding of the mitochondrial. And you're going to know once you successfully had your breakthrough, people will go everywhere you go. People are going to be like, dang, girl, are you glowing? It's an unmistakable glow, right? So we can go off the CoQ10. So them the 3 supplements. Now, the meditation, the 3 supplements, but the women who haven't done your cleanses, if you got time to do your cleanses and continue on your process, but you need an herbalist that can walk you through everything so you don't get the wrong herbs, right? So when you talk to your herbalist, you want to, before you start this process of turning your mitochondria up, you have to get the metals out, or you will blow a fuse and have a literal stroke if you don't cleanse first. But the ones who've been doing their cleanses and their metal cleanses and their detoxes, they can start with the CoQ10, the PQQ, and the lion's mane, and you will do it under the supervision of a herbalist or a naturopathic physician if you still trust Western medicine. Um, and you can also do it under a shaman who's experienced in mushroom ceremonies, because he will also understand the best application of lion's mane and what you should do as a precursor to it. Even though it's a non-hallucinogenic, it's still a mushroom. And any shaman that has done mushroom ceremonies have to know all of the mushrooms. So he will know you're using lion's mane, and then he'll know what PQQ and CoQ10 is, and he'll be able to say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. But this is going to turn the mitochondria up. But the cleanses you need first. Liver is the biggest, most important cleanse. That's normally dandelion, burdock root, and milk thistle, right? There's you could do a cranberry and elderberry. It's a couple more berries you can use to flush the kidneys. Cranberry is the most accessible, the easiest, and the cheapest one to get to flush the kidneys. Then you have to do an intestinal cleanse and a flush, and that was the program depending on your diet that you have to go over with your. This is why I'm telling y'all to get y'all a herbalist first. So, because when y'all get caught up, and as the more women turn on, they're gonna start emitting higher frequencies, because the earth is sending them the codes as we speak through solar flare. Yep, heavy metal cleanse, liver cleanse, kidney cleanse, intestinal cleanse. That's the cleanses that you need. And the heavy metal cleanse is not as difficult as you think. But you don't want to cleanse everything at once, because you will go into a healing crisis that will shut you down. So this is why you need an herbalist, because even though this stuff is natural, we've been unnatural for so long that the sudden shock from it can also cause problems. So as you're transitioning, you need a professional that can walk you through it to get you detox first before you start raising your mitochondrial frequency, right? Once you start doing this, it's going to be unmistakable. No matter where you go, you're going to be glowing, and you're going to have a positive effect. Is you got to keep your heart light. That means don't let other people's opinions get into your heart space and upset your emotions. F their opinions, right? Tell them to use them for a suppository, and that's what they can do with their opinions. And you walk in your love energy, and how do you tune into that? Well, from watching my mama, when she understood we had enough food to eat, and she understood dad was in the house watching his fight in the back room, she used to go into this energy, and I could feel it on the other side of the room. And she'd be stirring in her pot, and she'd just be bobbing her head and stirring in her pot and be humming a little bit, because she's in that energy. And I used to say to myself, Mama, act like she in love, and start giggling. And don't none of the other my siblings know what I'm thinking. And I'm looking at them, and they just going about their regular day. And I'm watching Mama. Talking about Mama look like she in love. That's the energy you want to be in. Everything is safe. Everything is secure. It's all right. And I can just be free to love. When you get to that energy, any mother that know what I'm talking about can know what I'm talking about. If they've experienced being in there, giving provisions to the family, knowing everything gonna be all right. Ain't got nothing to complain about. Everything all right. It's all put together. That's the you on mute, Empress.
I said, so now everybody understands the nature of us, that we operate from the highest realm of love. And we got to stop all this biting and being cutthroat, first of all, to ourselves and to other people, because hurt people hurt people. And what's going on right now, we're trying to flip this post-traumatic stress stuff that we've carried into our DNA, and why it is important, why Big Mama don't be around here raising hell. You know, that's why I don't entertain drama. I really don't. I don't get into public controversy. And I choose to. It's a choice. You could choose to be happy and walk in love, or you can choose to still stay in my coop, or either stay in the masculine energy. And the problem is, not only our men are already that, but our women are. Women have been in survival mode so long that we have to be conscious of our energies and how we do a thing, how we respond to crisis, how to respond to things that come up unexpectedly, and having choice of words that we use to damn ourselves. And I mean literally. Like, for instance, you have this saying, I can't win for losing. Well, flip that and say, I can't lose for winning. Now you see how that really like flipped everything, because we're so used to having these sayings and these different sayings that family have passed down for generations that are keep cursing us and using words like blessing, be less. Okay. He mentioned the word imagination. If you break down that word, it's a couple of words in there that can help us. It's I'm a nation. I'm a G in the nation. Break it down. Impossible. I'm possible. So we have to pay attention to what kind of energies, particularly because we've been in such a patriarch energies for so long. We don't even know we acting like man. The masculine energy. And we can't balance them until we balance ourselves first, because they can't balance themselves without us. And so it's imperative that you understand what you have inside of you, your DNA, how important it is to this planet, that we melanated women got to come back online, because if we stay the way we are, the longer the suffering is going to be for us and for this planet. So we must shift, and that's what we're gearing up for the matriarch. That we've got a committee now. We getting ready to launch some things so you can get cleaned up. A lot of you coming in with the wrong ideas, the wrong impression of what a matriarch and coming into the matriarch means. What it means is that you come into self-governing because you're sovereign. You're sovereign. God is sovereign. And what they're not telling us is that we are gods. We're not goddesses. There's no such a word. It's not such a There's no such word as goddess. We're gods. Period.
So
And
I
they're
want to go.
afraid that we're going to come online and exercise our God powers. And so that's why they have to continue to hide this stuff from us so that we don't come into our fullness of who we are in our power. I yield, Rod.
So, Empress, I want to touch on two more things, then we can wrap it up. One is the man's role in the matriarch, and the second one is Sufi. Sufi is mystics in Islamic tradition. So, the role of the men in the patriarchy, everybody keep thinking, all of the men keep getting scared that the women is going to pretend to be men and do what the men did under the patriarchy. To me, that's not how it worked. So the men got three things that they need to do to be prepared. They got to work on a physical self to be strong enough and in shape enough to defend their house. So it should be a routine of every man is some kind of exercise, even if it's walking around the park several times a week to stay in some kind of physical conditioning so that you capable of protecting. The next thing is that under the matriarchy, you're gonna have more hands-on responsibilities of leadership than you do in the patriarchy. You're going to be required to take more these young guys under your wing and give them hands-on information about real life stuff compared to when it was under the patriarchy. The mothers require the men to form mentor groups among themselves and take their responsibility to find the boys in the community and keep them from going into the wrong direction by mentoring them through the struggles of life. All of the boys supposed to know we got a problem. Well, we gonna figure it out. Let's go down to the barbershop. Uncle Will down there, Uncle Joe down there, Uncle Bobby down there, Uncle Mike down there. One of them gonna help us. Sometimes we got to do some dirt, but we can't let them do the dirt that they have to do that's required in order to survive without proper consultation from elders. Because you can limit going to have a conversation that would have escalated into a murder by having proper counsel. So it don't mean that you still don't stand on your block or stand on your set or rep your set. That means that you only do it from a position of wisdom and experience now. You're not figuring it out as you go like we had to do. These responsibilities of men under the matriarch that we neglect under the patriarchal system, they obligations, they're not negotiable. Just like right now when I'm doing on social media, when I come out and I speak and I tell them where to find everything I can think of to get us free. Look over here, this is what I see. Because it's a responsibility now. And I'm helping as many as I can using social media as a medium. I'm not doing it for money. I want us to be free. Right? And if I do what I have to do to help us to collectively become sovereign once again and to govern ourselves as such, this is the difference between royalty and peasantry. The peasants got to be beaten lion. The royalty don't need to be told what to do because it's in the blood to carry yourself in a particular manner that give you the right to be known as royalty. It's all encoded. It's DNA. It's genetic. It's heritable. And the ones who can't carry that self that way, they not even from Earth because they don't got the royal rights. Anybody don't got the rights. The blood rights ain't from here. Anybody ain't from here won't be here. And anybody that don't want to leave, they can stay, but the sun gonna run their ass out of here sooner than later. And it don't matter what their skin complexion is. We get caught up on complexionism. All of the isms, if you hear an ism behind it, it's a divide and conquer strategy that's applied. It's tactically applied now. When you hear ism behind a word in reference to a verb, Islamism, right? Racism, politicsism, they fixed in that position. That means it's a strategy involved in the process of oppression. You can have two brothers and they can be, one of them could be pale face with straight hair and the other one could be brown skin with nappy hair, come from the same mama. So we can't let complexionism that was taught to us as a legal communication in our face used to oppress us behind our back. They use all of those divide and conquer. Anything that make you harbor any negative vibrational feelings in your heart for another human is an applied pressure point of oppression. It obstructs the application of love when you start putting conditions into place. Now you can't love properly, therefore people can't communicate properly because the love is dysfunctional. This is why we want these sisters to vibrate in their divine feminine. This is why I use the examples I use to help get you in the frequency. Slow dancing to love songs get you in the frequency. Some of the girls like to do ballet because it get them in that frequency. But the more higher drive feminine that's closer to the masculine, they like gymnastics to control and to get into that frequency. Right? Softer ones might like figure skating to get them into that frequency. Right? And some of them is tribal. Some of the tribes had the girls jump rope so that they could feel that constant float between the ropes of feet not being on the ground so they could feel like what it feel like to ascend. Right? Some of them use swimming, the water tribes, right? The skywalkers use tree climbing, scaffolding, tightrope walking, trapezes. That's all from the sky clans, the treetop walkers, right? So we had different cultural practices and we all had different ways for our tribe to balance the energy. They just came over here and tried to apply one thing universally and all of the families behave different. And now we trying to act like they telling us to act and it ain't working. But if we go back to following the nature, the great law, and restore the great mother, it'll self-correct within one generation. And we already planning ahead for 7 to live in bounty and prosperity. And we gonna start celebrating in 2025 for the whole year. Me and Empress gonna be traveling around from party to party all over the country. Telling them, giving them the game and dancing with them and barbecuing and dancing around the campfires at night, telling war stories, all of it. We're gonna be we're gonna be traveling like gypsies, the chiefs, for about 2 years, just getting everybody a chance to ask questions to all of the chiefs that was held in captivity by these monsters. And then we got work to do. We're gonna be doing the leadership summits, right? We're gonna be doing the educational summit for the children. We're getting away with the school system because we all know that the school is the shul and the shul is the Sheol and Sheol is hell. So we don't want to send our babies to hell no more because they act like devils when they go there. They just adapting to the environment. So we gonna give them educational havens because a haven is more like heaven, and maybe they'll start acting like angels instead. What you think, Empress? You on mute?
I said you're right on time. Did you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I said you're
So,
right on time. I wanted to go back, for instance, since you asked that question of me. Now I have to go back to something that uh you showed me. Is this seat right here?
mm-hmm.
Okay. So I want to get this real clear, because I want to understand this seat here and why I'm just now actually grasping. It's taking me some time. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute and I'll come back to this. I want to explain something, express this to everyone. This seat is the seat that was taken, and that the seat is mine, by birthright. Now, being that you explained that, Chief Pontiac, I'm having like these thoughts about the seat and where we are now in the process of me doing that.
Okay, that particular seat is a replica. It's not the actual seat. It's a replica to give us a public recording of what they were doing. On this land, when you went to Philadelphia, you sat in the sacerdotal seat of Turtle Island. When you sat in the sacerdotal seat with the blood in the right, they all got to bow down, talking about the invaders and the imposters, because we never demanded our people to bow to nobody, not even us. They raised their hands in salutation to us, but they want their people to bow down. We want our people to rise up. It's a difference. This is why I had mentioned earlier about you going to Philadelphia, sitting in the seat of power. It's the political seat of sacerdotal power for Turtle Island. The real sacerdotal seat for the planet is in Arizona and is guarded by the military, and it's the old temple of Isis. We use the replicas in modern times because as time goes on, the points of energy of the planet shift. So we mark the new location with a identifier. In Kemet, the seat is not represented as a physical object. It's a ceiling painting in the Dendara temple that shows where Big Mama is in relation to all of the other totems, which are family lines in the entire zodiac pantheon. And she is the one with the hippopotamus head in the imagery, the alligator spine, and the hippopotamus body with the woman's breast. but she's carrying a cleaver in her right hand. Right. This is Tawaret in ancient Kemet. Before the temple was in Dendara, it was the temple of Kali Ma, right outside of Bangladesh, not Bangladesh, Bengali, India. This is when the Dravidians, the ones that look like me and you in India, was the royal family because they was the original bloodline of the earthborn in the area. They were usurped by one of Enlil's wives named Kamala Devi. And they took over and subjugated the organic people of the land, relegated them to the lowest position on the caste system when they took power over there. But when the seat moved, Kali Ma commissioned the Thuggee to take everything back from them. And this is why the Thuggee had the reputation of being robbers on the highway, or bandits is what they called them. But the people that they was robbing was the tax collectors. Robin Hood story. It's all intertwined around the world. The sacerdotal seat then was taken from them and was given to the priestesses of the Gorgon, and they established the civilization known as Greek, usurped by the patriarchy, the Romans, the Etruscans. They then have to put the sacerdotal seat in Rome because Rome is the headquarters of the Babylonian kingdom. But we have to be able to read the signs to know where there's this sacerdotal seat power moving to and how can we prove it. So we identified the infiltrator coming in is Alexander in Greece because his father was Zeus, which is the same interloper that came in Sumer as Enlil. The same interloper that came in Kemet as Set. Right? So we following the same sacerdotal seat and the crucifixion of Cleopatra was telling you she was a Gorgon priestess that they stole the power from, which brings the birthing of the Jesus story to conceal who Isis is, the queen of heaven and earth. So the replicas sit there, but you are in the responsibility now to designating the artists to redesign your seat, designating the geography to where the new seat of power going to be. Remember, I've been telling you that the whole time. You're going to have to choose the new seat of power. You and the sisters got to get together, the other tribe mothers. Y'all got to figure out which one of these castles want to be y'all primary meeting places and all of these things for political reasons. All y'all doing is trying to figure out how to feed, clothe, and house the most people. That's it. How to maintain the infrastructure and support the local who are trying to do that. Unlike the government that want to control everybody so that they can make everybody work for them. And a handful of people hiding in little smoke-filled rooms making decisions that affect everybody where they the only ones benefit. So we take the sacerdotal seat back from the enemy, we give it back to the rightful heir. We overthrow every corporation by exposing their fraud to the public domain, using the oral tradition, because they gave it all back in the Indigenous Rights Act if we use our oral tradition and exercise our sovereign right. And I've been following the oral tradition, putting it in the public domain for the last 5 years, and all of the receipts is there. You on mute. You still on mute, Empress. Oh, okay.
There we go. All right. So, being that's being said, I'm where I'm supposed to be right now, son.
Yep.
All right.
So we following the process. Then if we successful in each step, they give us a response in the political arena with their stage show. This is the funniest stage show I ever seen.
I mean, I had this conversation with one of my parents. I'm not going to say which one it was yesterday, and they said, "Oh, yeah, that Kamala, she gonna take us all the way somewhere this time. How about she gonna be the one?" And I'm thinking, damn, what you think? I said, you don't want to know what I think. So I'm gonna keep my opinion to myself because I don't get into public controversies. But I tell you one damn thing, I ain't vote for damn one. Oh, you don't vote? No, I don't damn vote. I vote for me to be free. I can count on me to be free. I'm not sitting around in horrified and all my emotions all up in there. Ah, Brian is gonna die.
So look, Empress, this political arena is playing the reverse of going into this. So one of Kamala's doubles, I call them stunt doubles, is a man.
Hey, I'm glad we said it at the same time. How many of y'all know that's a he? All
So
dressed up and nowhere
so
to go.
so this is what the side effect is going to be. The real Kamala, wherever they got her held hostage at, is going to let the drag queen take the political seat. Because when the drag queen take the falling political seat, that's sending the devil to hell. This is why it's all written in there. So this automatically plays the trump card, right? Because one, I don't even think she was born over here. Anybody not born here take the office of president is a coup. Founding father said that in they letters. That's why it's one of the prerequisites to being president is you must be born on the land. That's to prevent foreign occupation of a domestic state. So if they do, Joe Biden character already the exit stage left came back a whole foot taller. People not paying attention, but it's my job to look at the little details. So when he come wherever he at, 6 feet, all of this stuff is leading up to the reenactment of the takeover of the cross-dressing drag queen priest masquerading as the women sitting in all of the matriarchal seats of power. So when that happened, it got to cause the fall. It's a chain reaction, action reaction. One thing causes another thing, right? They already did it once with Obama with the birth certificate situation. Then they turned around and Sleepy Joe went to sleep. We got all of the evidence from the 2020 election fraud, from the video, real-time video footage of the guy hacking the computer that hacked the vote. And his testimony and all of the dirty plays he said was in it. He told on them. right? So this initiated a wartime presidency, but in order to keep the people from knowing that they fighting this clandestine war of espionage in high places, and that they trying to take over the government in order to keep us in slavery and defy the length of the contract. Because they believed that none of us was going to be able to know when to pull the plug on their contracts, this is why they produced that Obama character, short for abomination, as in an abomination. And so now we watch the stage show play out as the real people, the people from the land, the flesh and blood sovereign beings walking as the first ones, the ancient ones have returned. We decided not to use their judicial system because it ain't designed for us. And we decided to go over the head and use what's called a higher order of law, divine law, that gives us the divine right to exercise the birthright of the earth right and to grandfather clause the grandmother clause in at the close of the age in order to prepare for the next 7 generations. And here we are applying it actually in real time. But do the people really know what we're doing? But they don't understand the magnitude of it because it haven't hit mainstream media because we ain't done taking that over yet. But sooner or later, it all got to come out. You on mute.
So this would be a good time, Rod, if you would, for any questions that are in the chat room that our moderators can read out for any Q&A. We'll take some Q&A. Okay, Miss Miko, I got you now. So moderators, could you please look in the chat room and see if there's any questions, and either the TikTok, if Tracy, if there's any questions, could you please let us know so that we can answer any questions anybody has if we can.
Everything's out in the open.
Y'all need to. Okay, go ahead.
I see a question from Alana Gonzalez. It says, question, why when the visualization of the mitochondria occurs, it shows and vibrating? What does that mean?
Is it her visualization or is it the video she watching?
No, she didn't say her visualization or the video that she was watching.
If she's asking from her visualization, it would mean something different.
Okay.
So I'll answer from both perspectives. The mitochondria is putting energy out on a vibrational frequency. If it's on the video, it's displaying that there's a vibration emanating from the mitochondria that is a noticeable part of the anatomy of the cell. If you in the visualization and it starts off still, but begin to show vibrations in your visualization, it means that you are activating your personal mitochondrial, and now you can start amplifying the output. So that would be the goal of your visualization.
Right.
And then the next question that I see in the chat from Shakawia. I hope I said your name correctly, Terry. If a person has metal fillings or other metals inside the body, what do we do about that? Of course, you answered that with the getting the metal detox, but you can
But
give.
still, okay. So for the if you want to get the metal out your mouth, you can talk to your dentist about replacing it with porcelain fillings. And as far as like a metal replacement, it's still going to leach metals, but it won't be the toxic metals. The toxic metals are like lead and the softer metals, right? The iron rusts and causes your melanin to take on a brown hue instead of the magnesium turns green, which would make your skin take on a green hue. That's what one of the chemicals that was switched in the tampering with the human genome.
Okay, so in the TikTok, someone is saying, when are you going to put in place? I don't know. You have to be a little bit more detailed, sweetness, and then I'll come back to you. Jody says, do we need volunteers and others to help? I'll let the clan mothers chair and co-chair and the communications Erica to respond to that question.
Yes, we will send out information if you're on the email list or have filled out the Clan Mother form, then you will have newsletters to go out as well as emails calling for help in certain areas.
Okay, so right now, if you would, please, we need to talk about a few things that are coming up as it relates to the clan mothers and the 12 steps to sovereignty, and where we are with that. So we'll come back to that at the end so that we can give y'all some information that you definitely need to know before you get off this call, okay? And to pass on to your other sisters and brothers likewise, because this 12 steps to sovereignty is a masculine and feminine over there. The both are over there. In the clan mothers, there is only for the women. So I want to be real clear about that. Okay. All right. So Ray Rising. Hi. All right. Yeah, a whole bunch of folks talking about they're gonna join the 12 steps of sovereignty. Okay, but hey, got to stop. All right. So, but any other questions related to what the topic is, what we're taking right now, because I don't want to be all over the place.
I seen one in the comments. Okay.
If they could raise their hand if they have a question so that we don't miss
Well,
anybody.
one of them wanted to know the name of the books we was reading. So can you put the cover of the ISIS thesis up so they could see that again?
Sure. Let me pull it up. All right, so let me share my screen. There we are. And let me there it is.
Okay.
Is this the
And
same one like the ISIS paper?
no, the ISIS papers is the rules to the games, and that's written by Dr. Francis Cresswell.
Okay.
Okay, then we can put the cover to the Henrietta Lacks book up.
Okay. I think I need to find that in
Email.
yeah, here it is right here. Put this out of the way. All right, there we go. Can you see that good, or you want me to blow it up a little bit more?
Yeah, blow it up because they got to write. They want to write the name down. You probably gonna have to just open up that screen. It should be big enough then.
Okay. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. I gotta go and grab it somewhere else. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
end up. So
the Lacks family reached a settlement, but they didn't reach the settlement that they supposed to get because the benefit that the pharmaceutical companies reaped from her sales. So when we take over the pharmaceutical industry, I'm going to advise the Empress that we should um, give a percentage of the pharmaceutical industry's proceeds to them
mm-hmm. And
because
that
they,
and
they they made trillions off that lady's blood.
I agree.
And if her cells is immortal, that means every time they splice one, she still feel it. Let that sink in.
Hmm. I mean, they've been stealing from us all along. Like when we have our babies, um,
Mm-hmm.
anytime we go and give blood, and you stop giving them your blood.
So, somebody asked, do I do mentor for the young chief? I mentor any of them that come to me, but the official programs start on the turnaround. The reason why I haven't started any official programs, because they would have tried to come get me as a cult leader. But as long as I'm doing everything remotely and solitary, it ain't nothing they could do about it.
Well, I want to ask if our cells are the way they are, then that means our cells are the same as hers. Then am I correct? Or
Yeah, that's what we was just going over, the lac Z gene. That's the immortal genes that is from the earthborn that comes through the mother line that's carried through the mitochondrial from the first mother.
mhm.
This is
Okay.
why when we canceled stuff in the oral tradition, before I knew who you was, you knew who I was, they was surrendering documentation to you. You ain't go ask them people for that stuff.
No.
They came and told you they had some stuff for you.
Yeah.
Because if I start exercising my blood right effectively, then it causes them to have to honor that by giving you all the Big Mama stuff back. Because I can't have mine unless you got yours. So I got to find you while I'm putting it together. I'm sending you the knots. Sooner or later, the right ear gonna catch it, and then you gonna find me. Because I'm saying the right stuff according to what's coded in the DNA. No, her cells were not cancer cells. They said she died of cervical cancer, But doing the biopsy, they took some of her cells and used them in research and found that her cells were immortal, meaning that they don't die, they just continuously replicate.
So that when we transition as melanated women, they're robbing our tomb, as they say, the temple.
Yeah.
And so and I give this information out in the classes or the enlightenment sessions that I give, where the resin that is around the pineal gland and how powerful that is around that love. That's why they so in a hurry to get us down to the morgue so that they can drain the pineal gland of the essence of that substance that's around the pineal gland that they're using in ink toners, and they're using that resin in the ink toners to write our demise, believe it or not, because it's powerful, that substance around there. And I talk about that in our enlightenment sessions over in the 12 steps to sovereignty. And so
You know, they made a movie about that back in the 80s. This dude comes from outer space and he's taking things, sucking the juice out their pineal gland.
yeah.
Yeah. They made a movie
So
about it.
so that's why it's important for us to have our own morgue and our own everything on birthing centers, because we have so much intellectual properties that are being taken from us, and
Without our
I don't
consent.
even need. Yeah, well, I don't even know about compensation, because I don't think it's no amount of compensation that we could get for what we have. So nobility is not for sale.
Well, the compensation is give us what's ours, and when they get done giving it to us, they ain't got nothing left. So they can have what's left over after they give us what's ours. Nothing. So
Nothing
just give us what's
comes,
ours.
nothing leaves, nothing. You gotta have something. You wanna be with me. Okay. I'm not a singer, so I'm not gonna quit my day job. Okay. Now, Miss J had her hand up.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm curious as to whether or not Lilith is somehow connected to Waka.
To who?
Is there a connection to Waka and Lilith? Mani Waka?
Oh, well, Lilith. Okay, so Lilith is Lil Neef, right? It's Nephthys, and Lil is like saying okay, um Lil is like saying the one with the voice. The one with the voice. If it's masculine, it's the booming voice. If it's feminine, it's the harmonious voice, the siren. Neith is one on the pantheon of deities in the temples in Kemet. You can look her story up. This is who they talking about. Right. They call her Lilith in the Arabic rendition of the Kemetic Lil Neith.
Okay. Thank you, Rod.
Yep, all
Okay.
that was part of the usurping the divine feminine, by the way. Villainize all the righteous goddesses and turn them into harlots that bring the man down. Which is absolutely not the case. Because if you got you a good woman, you're going to come rise to the heavens or bring heaven to earth. One of the two.
You better know it. So it's imperative that we get our stuff together, get ourselves together.
Brother,
This,
we have 2 questions in YouTube.
mm-hmm.
One of the questions is, when will Big Mama be able to get her seat? And the other question is, did George Floyd call on his mother with the knee on his neck? Was it any significance in it?
Yes. Okay. So the first one is Big Mama's seat is predicated up on the mass awareness of the matriarchal return. This is what we're doing now. As the masses become more and more aware, then they play the political stage show off to show us the timing based off a script that's derived from prophecies. They play it out, and when the old system fall, it has got to fall with a theatrical performance. The banks collapsed, and all of the senators and congressmen seem to be losing their mind, and I have to come and tell you that we under martial law because the government is non-functional or some theatrical performance type like that, which is going to be telling you at the same time the matriarchs have overruled all of the patriarchal BS and assumed their rightful position as the mothers prepared to nurse the nations, right? And so it'll be known publicly because we're not doing nothing privately. We're doing this for the people, in front of the people, for the people to see what we're doing the whole time we're doing it. And what we're doing is following the oral tradition to walk back the imposters until we get Big Mama back to her seat. And it comes from reading the signs, and they all in front of us. Okay, the George Floyd, the officer Chauvin was the Manchurian candidate with his knee on George Floyd neck. The program trigger word was mama. Because the character, and every time they arrested George before that, he always get into that call for his mama. So the officer assigned is a Manchurian candidate, MK Ultra product, sent out to cause a chaotic event to keep us in a state of fear, to prevent us from reclaiming what's rightfully ours, to give them an extension of time by confusion. So when he put his knee on George Floyd's neck and he was crying for his mama, he was activating him with a hypnotically implanted code in Officer Chauvin that he had no control of his voluntary self to stop. He had to do what he did at that point because that's what he was programmed to do. The same way the guy was programmed to shoot John Lennon in the back, the same way Sirhan was programmed to shoot Robert Kennedy, the same way that guy that you never seen was programmed to kill JFK because Ari Oswald didn't do it. So they used those Manchurian candidates. The Sonia Massey, hers was the blood of Jesus. They knew who she was. The police was already at her house when she called the police. Them the people she was calling the police on. So they was already there, walking around, prowling in their yard, All they needed was an excuse to get in the house. Tapping on her side of her house with their flashlight, like some of these psychics ain't gonna see it. Because in the Akashic record is plain as day visible. Overhead view, you could see them walking in their backyard, tapping on the house side of the building with the flashlight. So when she called for them, then they got these uncanny connections between the police that was the trigger man and the lady at the hospital she just left. There's too many coincidences for it to be haphazard. Matter of fact, it ain't even a coincidence no more because it's more than two things that's converging now. Po mean two. Anything more than that, it's deliberate. So that was the significance of him calling mama.
Any more questions? Someone is asking about when are we still working on getting Dr. York out? And there are some extenuating circumstances that I can't personally talk about, but maybe Rod can give you an update in a general way.
Look,
Because
this is a situation. We working to get all of the chiefs out, not just one. But we have to finish establishing jurisdictional supremacy. That means we have to finish bringing this corporate fiction to a close so we can be in a position to give an order to release them. As of right now, they system ain't done falling, so we still in the same thing, struggling to get the people to wake up in enough mass to cause the system to collapse. And then we'll see more than just Malachi. But we ain't gonna stop advocating for the righteous that was done wicked, no matter which one of the chiefs they be.
I say. Okay, so any more questions on TikTok? Okay. Thank you, New Orleans King. He said I look like the angel. Thank you. All right. So I guess that's all the questions that we have.
We have someone with their hand raised, Coach Brittany.
Oh,
Yes, hi. So I have a question. This is probably for either Empress or Rod, either one. I know I'm going to be in the sovereignty class this fall, but would it help to also join and be tribal affiliated during this time, joining a tribe officially? My husband and I did our genealogy, checked census records, and we confirmed, our tribal lineage, and we found Aboriginal people who started some nations. And I don't know what you think about that. Is that necessary? Just wanted to hear your thoughts.
As
no.
long as you don't have to register nothing with the government, you can tribe up with your tribe. But as soon as they start telling you you got to fill this out and sign that, it's a trap. Your
Okay.
tribe know who you are, just like you know who they are, and y'all feel the same. And some of them might not be woke yet, but others will be.
Well, this is my take on it as Big Mama. Your tribe is your family and your children. And then it expounds from there. Okay. I'm like Rod, I'm real I'm about you knowing who you are and centering that first, and then the other stuff will work itself out, if that makes sense.
Yes,
Coach.
it does make sense.
Yeah,
That makes
so
sense. Mhm.
don't be running, because a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you all about running and joining stuff. So you got to be careful about running and joining stuff. You want to create your own tribe in your own right, because that means you going and being up under somebody that's in charge of something. And I really promote you being that you're looking for outside of yourself, and going over there and joining somebody that's dictating how things roll. Why can't people, why can't you get people get the concept that you're your own governing force here, and that you say whatever it is, and whatever you say, that's what it is?
Well, a lot of that come from the socialization and the conditioning of the current system. And we don't understand how to be leaders within our own household, let alone to lead the family. All our big mamas do it. They keep us together. Our aunties, and they get together and they keep the family together. Those are the principles that you learn as you establish your tribe under your vine and fig tree. Everybody was supposed to be under their own system, and they only codified it so that other people in their clan know how their system run. We call it literature, tribal literature, but we wasn't had restrictions like you can't go fishing unless you go register over here. We didn't have those restrictions, and we formed alliances with other groups that was doing similar interest things in order for us to be able to congregate together under a common purpose. Some tribes in the South, it was the barbecue. Other tribes, it was the fish fry, right? And you start going further west, you start getting more and more diverse tribal practices that the local tribes rally around, right? In the Midwest area, it was the Great Corn Festivals, where they brought corn from all the different tribes around the land and had different corn dishes. Then you had the bison hunts that all of the men used to go on to bring the meat back to their family. They ran the bison off so that they can sell us bovine beef that's toxic to our system. So we had tribal affiliations based on common interests. My family might be interested in cars, and we might have some people that's a few cities over that got the common interest, and we will form an event based around our common interest for a tribal gathering. This was how we, now all of these celebration type things and carnivals and fairs, that all come from our ancient practices being monetized and used to drain our resources. But
If I may, Rod, sorry, just real quick. I guess one question to add to that. So my husband and I have a business. We travel. We've lived out of the country. I think that we were looking at it because we wanted a tribal driver's license. We wanted to register our business with the tribe. We wanted to, maybe get a passport that was not with the United States, or a tribal passport. But it sounds like we won't even need to do any of that. Is that
no,
what I'm? Okay.
no,
No.
because what's going to happen is you're going to end up with a family bank. Your family bank is going to have a personnel office that register your vehicles, your home property, and your family will insure your assets to help you rebuild if a tornado comes. So all of your assets will be available for your resource, and this will be they will go back so many generations. The common Big Mama's family will be alerted to her asset. And then they would get together and they would form family groupings and set up what's called the family umbrella, which it starts from the ones that's the senior members, clans in the family closest related to her, all the way to the branches out. And so everybody will be tied in to a family bank, and this will take away the need for a central bank because the family bank does for the family what the central bank does for the country. Only it protects the interests of the family over the interests of the country, and the Federal Reserve Bank protect the interests of the banker over the people or the country. So it's different when Big Mama Bank set up.
Oh, it's very
So all
much
of that
different.
stuff comes from Big Mama.
We call it the indigenous people's sovereign people's bank. And I can't talk a lot about it, but I can tell you that Empress is in the process of being trained and in the software to do what needs to be done for our people and our banking system.
Thank you both for answering my questions. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Now, someone said that does a hysterectomy interfere with your activation?
You have to
No.
use you have to use what's called the phantom, which is the body's memory of the uterus. It's energetically still there. It's just not physically still there. It's the same way people get their leg cut off and so they can still feel their leg even though it ain't there. It's called phantom limb syndrome. That's because the energy field that the leg was in is still there. It's just that the physical leg not there. And spiritually, you totally intact, no matter what they take from you physically. But physically, they can maim the body, but they can't maim the spirit. And the spirit will respond when you call upon it, according to your sequences of your chakras.
Okay. Someone says they have an innocent question. Why the government says that we have to have a patent to get the land?
The land patents is written up under admiralty law as the salvage right to lay claim to our properties by a foreign agency. To get the land patent back from them is called capturing the document. But you don't want the land patent, you want the first title they drew up on the land called the allodial title. Once you get that, now you seized every piece of paperwork that followed it that was built upon it.
And right now, I'm the holder of the allodial title to Turtle Island.
Which means that they surrendered the jurisdictional authority of Turtle Island to the Empress. But we got to follow the oral tradition to reclaim and restore by informing the collective clans that we back for everything they owe.
Okay. Someone wanted to ask how the blood constitution has put us under a stupor so effectively.
That's what it was designed to do effectively. It wasn't designed to haphazardly do it. It had powerful impact. It was like putting a big cloud of sleep on top of everybody. It was sorcery in the highest degree.
Okay. If you are a Tenio Ariwak, who do you connect with?
Starting your own family first.
That's what I say. You know, your family is your tribe. And you are the nation.
So I tell the young chiefs that come to me, Empress, and they want to know how your status as a chief is built. I say by making the most connections with your family members. You got cousins that you've never had a conversation with. As you move your rank up by making those connections in the family by love and respect, it spiritually move your rank up on the land. And then you begin to be recognized without people knowing that who you is as somebody important. They begin to see them connections as an energy field. So if you can take the time, hour a week and call a new family member, you increasing your value to the family, which is increasing your value to the society. Hey, cuz, I'm just reaching out. I ain't talked to you and never got a chance to meet you. I'm so-and-so son, your uncle so-and-so's sister. And I just wanted to reach out to somebody in the family I ain't never had an opportunity to have a conversation with. And I never had an opportunity to have a conversation with you, but I've been knowing you as my cousin the whole time. Oh man, it's glad to meet you, man. I remember back when I was at your mama's house and y'all was a little boy. You don't remember seeing me back then? You know, just the conversation. It don't have to be no political jargon. It could just be getting to know a family member that you didn't know before. This increases your hierarchy in the family, and it moves your spiritual rank up in the family. And then you begin to be a representative. They begin to send you out to meet new people, but it'll all happen so naturally you won't notice it's taking place until you realize what's going on. But that's how you increase your value to the family, is increasing your value to society. And the ones who can do a good work and connect the most family in the name of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice has the strongest bonds of affection between family members. And you also, when it come time to divvy up the resources, you to go to because you know the most people in the family. It expedites things.
I see. Okay, we got a hand up. The Mott Moore. Antoine.
I got two questions.
Okay.
First question is my grandmother is still with us, yet she is in a nursing home and she has a living trust that my uncle is custodian of. My question is, she's aware of the land back at home, but yet I can't do anything because of the way that my uncle is handling her. So that's one. Is there something that I can do that I can help my grandma get back home to the land? That is where our land is. And the second part is because of the Land Abandonment Act, the Land Donation Act, and the removal of the people that was forced into sharecropping, do we have some type of, well, we got record, but yet is there some type of process that we can attend to in order to get that back?
Yeah, well, we probably won't get the exact same plots back for all of the families, but we'll be able to reallocate compensation for the families to have a common family farm, right? As far as whatever you do with your grandma, you can't. The trustee is the one who called the shots.
Mm-hmm.
So if it requires you to come up with some funds, then you might run into a problem there. But if you can take care of your grandma without their help, get out that nursing home.
Yeah, because what happens when we put our ancestors in nursing homes, right? They take over the whole estate. and because of their care, they actually sign over all of that over to them for the care that they given them. So if she was if the trust if the land is in the trust name, then there's nothing they can do because they only count whatever is in her name. And so when a trust, a good trust, you can't take people's assets out of there. So it's there for a reason. I just not for me, I just be honest, I just would like not to get involved with people's personal affairs because then they want to put you on the hook for whatever happened or don't happen. And so I just prefer not to dabble in other people's business. I just mind my own business. If anybody else wants to answer that, that's great. But if your grandmother has taken the time to handle her affairs, and she put your uncle or whoever in charge, then that was her intent.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to leave it alone, because now you dabbing into her affairs that she put in place when she was well. And if she's appointed somebody the trustee of the land, then you have to respect her wishes. And that's where families fall out at. That they don't respect each other's wishes. And the first thing that happens is we never put our elderly people in nursing homes.
Right.
If you notice the Asian folks, they look, they're among the family till they leave out of here. They get to raise the great grandbabies. But grandma and particular ain't going to no nursing home.
Right.
Well, we used to have the up and coming teenagers tend to the elderly so that they can listen to them and get that wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Now the youth cut off from the wisdom, and the result is in the chaos in the community.
Right.
All right.
I'm certainly glad that you all invited me over to listen. I believe in 100% independence. I am a Sheikh Ali Imam Akbar, one of the Black Panthers and one of the Black Muslims that's Black activists and working with multi cultural organizations amongst people who do seek independence. Because our socialism, I've been working with Dr. Cornel West, and I've led 7 delegations to Tulsa, Oklahoma, in particular, and found that they had told me there were 300 people massacred in 1921. We have investigated with our own staff and found well over 3,000. So I completely identify with you for seeking independence and don't depend on their Google and their stats, and you just develop your own stats, your own Google, and you'll be just fine. But you alluded to a fact that George Floyd's slaying. That was a woman in a township. I happened to be out there at the George Floyd scene in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And he approached a young man that on a potential warrant, like again, a routine traffic stop, and she reached for one of her weapons, claiming to reach for a taser, a laser, and shot him with a 9mm service Glock weapon
I
and killed
remember
him
that.
stone dead. Yes, young D, I remember. They executed him right on the spot. And then the same officer, 26-year veteran woman officer, said, "I quit." That's a clue there. And about a few minutes later, the police chief came to the mic and said, I quit. So now what you know about the opposition, they're rarely going to quit a job unless they got payoff or a bigger job, better job, or another job. And so they have been doing these executions, and we have been using the Black Panthers to shut down the police doing the executions to us. And we're shutting each other down. The young men shot a woman, shot 3 women at a liquor store. The Black Panther Party has moved to shut down that liquor store. So you have to take some of this independence, but I applaud you for moving out. We got food, organic food on the Nat Turner land. We've got some organic food on the Harriet Tubman land. Out Preston, Maryland is a organic farm. You'd have to marvel at these Black sisters that are working the farm, and we are just glad that you own independence, glad to be associated with you. But always remember, that's a code. Same thing happened in Washington, D.C. Young man was on a moped. This young man, we used to buy weed from him and stuff. Young Karan was there. And so Clarence Tattoo Sutton, a white officer, decided to do a high-speed chase in an area he's very familiar with. He knows there should not be a high-speed chase. Chased a young man in the streets, and he gets killed on a police vehicular homicide. Kill him. So we raised enough hell. We boarded up the police station at Georgia Avenue, 4D, boarded up the goddamn Walmart next to it, boarded up the McDonald's restaurant, boarded up the little gas station, boarded up the beauty supply, and to some degree we became large in charge. So you have a self-determination, and up your imagination. Marcus Garvey did in a couple of days, and you can accomplish whatsoever you will. And all you have to have is a will of self-determination. And Molly said it best, to get up and stand up, and just don't give up the fight. You're on the right fight, right time. I love being here in my first time. Thank you so much for allowing me to share a few syllables with you. Thank you.
Mr. Is it Shani?
Can you Sheikh Imam Akbar, Sheikh Akbar.
Sheikh Imam Akbar. If you would be so kind to I'm trying to find you in the chat for you to put your phone number in my chat, on my chat.
Gladly, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Empress, y'all doing a wonderful job of getting them together on your health. You can't do no better. And get off them people's place and stay out of stay out of their business, and they'll stay out of your business. That's a proven fact. Yes, ma'am. Y'all on the right road. A few places in Georgia. We got a lot of independent camps in Georgia, around Delaware and Maryland, and Texas, Alto, Texas. And I used to name them all, but you know the ones in Texas, in Georgia as well. And we're going Black. We plan to go at the state of South Carolina, especially Spartanburg. There's 20 body bags in one jail of Black mans. And I just encourage you to keep an eye out on Spartanburg, the BMW place where they, not the Black man working, but they make the real BMW car. And the sheriff is the highest paid official in this county. And they've executed 20 Black men, including and especially the Lavelle Lane case. Pay careful attention to the Lavelle Lane case. It's a mental health case, just wandering on the highway. And he was supposed to go to the group home nearby. They brought him into the detention center and tortured him to death. And the mother is one of our spokesmen. She's our spiritual advisor, Miss Beverly Lane in Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we are going there in force to expose that township. We've been to the city council, we've been to the county board meetings, and just the whole 9 yards. And Black men should be in power. But the small minority of white folks hold up a Confederate flag over the township and dare people to take it down. And so we're going there to challenge Spartanburg, South Carolina, within the next 30 days. And same concept with Grandmaster Jay stood up for Breonna Taylor. And look at how they executed Sonia Macy, and look at how they executed Sandra Bland. Is there a great difference? I mean, they feel that they can kill the black woman and our black children and our black men, and there will be no due process, and nor will there be, you see, he wouldn't have done it unless I think he felt he could get off the hook for it. So this is the attitude towards us. While they're talking World War III, we in the Panthers are trying to stop the war on us. Thank you again. Power to the people. I'll write you up a chat.
Okay, so you'll put your phone number in the chat for me, Mr. Akbar.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I will put my phone number in the chat for you.
Okay.
Thanks. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
All right, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we've been online from 8 o'clock and it's 11:15. So what I want to do is kind of switch gears now. I need to make a few announcements and they're very important. So as I make the announcements, if you would be so kindly, everybody, to get your pen and your paper out for me, please. You too, TikTok, get your pen and paper. All right. So let's start with the Clan Mother committee. They've been working very hard to bring this Clan Mother committee together to be able to start to formulate, put things together, because we're not going to be raggedy about whatever we're doing. And so the Clan Mothers are actually the Clan Mothers Committee is getting ready to launch your class, which will be starting, if Erica, if you would give me those dates, please.
Yes, ma'am. It will start on September 14th to October 26th. It will be a meet and greet on September 7th.
Okay. Now, for those of you all that are not on the email list for the Clan Mothers, you need to contact the Clan Mother Committee, and they're going to tell you how to do that so that you can receive your links in your emails, so that you can be added to their spreadsheet so that you won't fall through the cracks. Because we're getting ready to start cleaning up our Clan Mothers from the debris that you have transitioning out of. And in order for you to be effective, you got to get cleaned up. Okay. And so if you would, Copper Alma and Helena, after Erica gives the email address to sign up for that.
Empress, I had a couple people message me and say that they weren't getting through that email. Have y'all been having any technical issues? Have it been like too many unanswered emails before y'all can get mails again or something?
You would have to ask Erica and Helena and Copper, because I stay out their business. I be stay in my lane. That's why I put them in charge. So let them answer that.
The proton.me email is working fine. We will also use clanmothercommittee@gmail.com if we are having difficulties with clanmothercommittee@proton.me.
Okay. Is there any way we can share those on the screen, Empress?
I'm going to let Erica share her screen with the information.
Okay, with, yes, give me.
The emails are also in the chat of YouTube and here on the Zoom.
And-
Tracy, if you can share it in TikTok, please.
I think she's typing it now. Yeah, she put it in. So it's Clan Mother Committee at proton.me. And then there is another email, did you say, Erica? Or is that the primary one?
Yes, and we also have planmothercommittee@gmail.com. So all of that is in the chat. If you're having issues with proton.me, I'll put that in the chat as well.
Okay. So can you tell us the dates again for the Clan Mother class?
Yes, ma'am. We will have meet and greet September the 7th, 2024. We will also have the first class starting on Saturday, September 14th, and that will go through October 26th.
All right. Now, Sister Vinay, Carbon Stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell them about the 12 steps of sovereignty and what we're doing right now starting Sunday, and give our dates as to when we're starting the actual class, but we're doing pre-stuff right now.
Correct.
And what email that they can use to get on this list to get their link every Sunday. Because we just graduated our third class. It was success. And so we want to keep the energies going.
Correct.
So what we decided to do is we have some major movies that we want to watch. And so you're going to tell them about what we're doing and with that.
Sure. Love and light, everyone. So basically what we're doing, just like she said, to stay connected, we want to make sure that time doesn't like go and you don't hear from the 12 steps to personal sovereignty and legacy. So with that being said, packets are going to be going out, but right now, starting tomorrow, as Empress already stated, we will be watching movies. We're going to have like different activities, you know, as things go progress, but mainly we're going to have movie time with each other, a little time to discuss what the movies meant to you or what you received from out of it. But that is going to go up until class starts, which will be, we're going to have our meet and greet for the 12 steps to personal sovereignty will be November the 3rd. So all of these will be every Sunday. And then so that day we're going to have a game night. So we'll do that as an icebreaker along with the Legacy and Empress. And then from then on to be, you know, once you come into the class, what have you, graduation will be for July 19th. And you will receive a packet. That packet will come, let me see what we have on here, September the 1st. So you'll get that packet before September the 1st, which you can start sending that in. And that's just with questionnaires, your NDA, different things like that. But that's pretty much it. But we just want to stay connected with everyone, and help to, do the format of your 12 steps to personal sovereignty experience. I yield.
Before you
Okay.
yield, I got one question for you. Is this going to be on location classes or will it be by Zoom?
It's gonna be by Zoom.
Okay, and that's the Clan Mothers meeting as well.
No.
That'll be in person.
The clan mothers would be, I'm sorry, my apology. Yes, it would be Zoom.
Yes, it will be Zoom.
But you see, I did like this. I ain't even say nothing because that's not my lane.
Yeah, it's via Zoom. Everything is Zoom, so you can do it in the comfort of your home. All you have to do is be committed to be in front of the camera. We do have rules of engagement that you can't be hiding out behind your camera because regulator will get you. I'm telling you that right now. She gonna cut you. So we telling y'all, a lot of you done got pissed off because she kick you out and you not listening. There's no more hiding behind the camera. You have to be on camera in order to be in the class. How would you feel if I did classes or whatever and I never showed my face on the camera? How would you feel about that? So legacy, you need to, in order to receive your link on Sundays, you have to email legacy dot Cherokee Nation State
at gmail.com.
Yeah.
We do have a proton.me account, but it actually is not giving us what we really need. So if you have been using that account, then you can go back to the Gmail account. We prefer the Gmail account. It's allowing us to do a lot more, sending out more correspondence, etc. So once again, that is legacy.Cherokee Nation State at gmail.com. And I yield.
Okay. So again, you can go ahead and send your email in so that you can get a link for tomorrow. And we'll be hanging out with you guys until class starts. Now, I know last Sunday we talked about fees. We never have charged for the classes, but it has come to our attention that we are actually digging into our pockets to keep things going. And so we would desire to have help doing that. So we met and we've reduced the fees. I had to talk with the elders and they had their mouth stuck out about the fees. And I care about what the elders think about what we're doing here. And they figured that the fees were too high. And so I sat and spoke with them. And so we've negotiated the fees down to $300, right? And if you need to have a payment plan, you can. You just need to say that on your application when you return it back to us, right? Or your package. And then whatever it is, that's what it'll be. Just make sure by the time you hit your fourth step that your $300 is paid. And then and we'll talk about the other stuff tomorrow, but we do want to let you know that we have reduced it from $5 to $300 to come in. And this takes care of like our Zoom, our e-voice telephone, and other things that we have to keep up with and pay for. So please know that whatever you want to have in life, you will find a way to govern yourself accordingly. If you have some really financial hardships, then you need to put that on the paper and let us know so that we can address it, because we are not going to turn down anyone. But you have to express what your matters are so that we can look at things case by case basis, okay? Because I don't want anybody to think that I'm about money, because I'm not about money, but it does take funds to keep things going, like this Zoom right here. It costs, I don't know, $100 and something a month.
Almost two.
Almost two. And so I would desire, when you make donations, because I like donations too, so that we can pay for these things. Okay? And until Big Mama's Bank come online, which will be in the next I want to say 30 to 60 days, I need to be able to keep everything going until our bank comes open. And after that, we don't have to ask nobody for anything, because I'll be able to create what I want.
Yeah, the resources will be available, and for all of the programs that we want to run, but we had to first get past this old system in order to get to the new system.
And so if you would like to donate, then I don't know, Vinay, do you have that screen for a donation? And what, because I don't know it by heart, I can only tell you about Cash App. And then I want Rod to also, because Rod has to spend hours on the line giving us the information and stuff, and we don't charge anything for nothing that we do. We do it because we want to do it. We want to give this out. Whether you donate or not, we still gonna do what we supposed to do. But a little bit of funds help spread a whole lot of information, because we need these platforms to be able to pay for what we're doing. We don't want to be paid for what we do. We just want to make sure that the platforms in which we use are paid for, or our cell phones, because I know Rod uses his cell phone for his TikTok or whatever. I mean, I have different things that I've got on my desk here, but what I'm saying is that we do desire people to donate.
Well, that's the reciprocity, reciprocal energy exchange.
Yeah,
If people feel the gratitude and they choose to donate,
yeah.
then that's fine. If they choose not to, that's fine.
And we still okay. Okay. So, Vinay, if you would um put the screen up for me, please. And then Rod, if you could tell them what your Cash App is, ways and means to donate to you, that would be great too. Okay.
Yeah. So I only use Cash App. And some people want me to get them other apps. I'm not in it for the money, so I don't try to open up a whole lot of money
Yeah.
outlets. But my Cash App is $ capital S IK capital APE.
So this is the ways and means to be able to give. And believe me, your funds always go towards where it's supposed to go within the nation, because I don't have to have your monies to live, because that's already been taken care of for me. I promise you it has been. So I don't need anybody's money, pay no light bill for me, pay my any of my bills, because my bills are already taken care of, because I have some I had a good husband, and I have someone else that is dear to me that makes sure that things are taken care of. So I don't, and I have some people around me too that are on the outside of the rim that supports us in ways and means as well. But as far as my personal life and my bills, I don't use any of your monies to pay any of my bills because it's not necessary. Okay. All right. So we look forward to seeing you all in the movie night tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So make sure you get your links. And the only way you're going to get your link is that you email the legacy.cherokeenationstate@gmail.com. And if you are looking to start your classes on September the 7th with the Clan Mothers Committee women, ladies, then make sure you get on their email list, which is clanmother@gmail.com. Okay? Or either Clan Mother at Clan Mother Committee. I think that's what it is. Don't let me butcher this up, y'all.
Clanmothercommittee@gmail.com.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, son. Okay? So we're looking forward to you all passing the information on as you all come in, and we're going to welcome you with open arms. And I know that you all are most of you all are eager to get started with this process with the Clan Mother. And the website would also launch on, what is it, Erica?
The first week of September.
The 1st of September?
Yes, the first week of September.
Yeah, the website will launch. So be looking out for that. Okay. Now, as the pastor says, all hearts and minds are clear right now.
Our hearts and minds are clear. We're excited for the launch of the legacy for the Clan Mother Committee website. We look forward to all the Clan Mothers coming over to the email address and signing up for the classes coming up September 14th. We look forward to answering your emails as well. Please be patient with us. There's a lot of emails coming through, and there's 12 to 14 ladies on the legacy committee, and we're getting through those emails
Mothers
as
Committee.
quickly as possible. What was that?
Clan Mothers Committee.
Yeah, the Clan Mother Committee. Apologies. And we're getting to those emails as quickly as possible. What else did I want to say? Thank you, brother, for joining us. We appreciate you for all the insight and education.
Thank
Okay,
you.
did you put your Cash App in the
I
in
just
the
said it.
you just
Somebody
said
put
it?
it. Somebody
have-
put it in the chat.
We've been putting it in there all
Yeah.
night.
All
Yeah.
night long. Yes. So Cash Apps are out.
All right. Well, we got a closing song for you all tonight, so that you can rest for sure that we're on the move.
And remember,
Okay.
You have to say
you can
good
only
night
play a
to
couple
YouTube.
seconds on Facebook.
Oh yeah. Say that to me one more time.
I
Oh
say,
yeah.
rem- remember you can only play a few seconds of a song on Facebook.
We getting ready to cut this thing out.
That's
So
why I said, tell
YouTube,
bye.
yeah. We first of all, y'all on
Yeah, I
YouTube.
mean YouTube.
Yeah, we getting ready to say goodbye because we ain't gonna have them trying to about some infringement and copyright and all that. They make me sick with that bull stuff. You hear me? So we're saying goodbye on YouTube tonight. And those of you all that's on the Zoom, you get to hear the closing song. Am I right, Vinay?
You are correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop live stream. See you guys on the other side tomorrow. And everybody take a couple deep breaths and just breathe.